wins. Speed intimidates. And in modern football, speed rules. No one has a more staggering surplus of game-changing, breathtaking speed in the backfield than number 4 West Virginia. Tonight, methodical, steady Maryland must contain all that speed to produce a signature victory, earn respect, and settle a score. Will the Speedy Hares learn to fear the tortoise tonight? Welcome back to College Park, Maryland. The pyrotechnics, all the motivational gimmicks as the Terps run out dressed in all black, just as the student body is. They did a 120-yard sprint after touching Testudo there, ran right to the base of the student section to be embraced by this crowd. A good atmosphere here tonight, but also plenty of West Virginia fans have made the 200-mile drive from Morgantown here to College Park. It is ACC versus Big East. College football primetime presented by Applebee's. Chris Fowler back with Doug Flutie, Craig James, and Aaron Andrews. These teams have met every year since 1980. For a while, Maryland had the upper hand until Rich Rodriguez and West Virginia turned it around in recent years, and this game was a beatdown in Morgantown a year ago, something very much on the minds of the Maryland players.
Maryland players have circled this game throughout the summer. You know, there are a lot of friendships back and forth. The rivalry's there. And so you will expect a Maryland defense, and they better be good, Doug, because if they don't come out quick and fast and hard, they're in trouble.
This offense of West Virginia's can put some points on the board in a hurry. Maryland got through the first 2 games with wins and got them behind them, but they've been eyeing this, circled it as you said, and are looking forward to West Virginia. This is a measuring stick for them for this season.
You got it. This is not Villanova and Florida International on the field tonight against Maryland. These 2 head coaches, both at their alma maters, both in their 7 seasons, and would you believe it, both with identical one-loss records of 52 and 24.
I love the fact that coaches go back to their schools and coach. The loyalty, the blood they've shed on those campuses, I really like that. It's a good trend in college football.
Now, Friedgen waited about 3 decades for his first head coaching job. Has made the most of it here at Maryland. But the Terrapin faithful expect even bigger things than last year's 9 wins. They have big expectations here. And of course, West Virginia has sky-high expectations. Their fans dreaming of playing in the BCS championship game down in New Orleans. There is the starting quarterback, or the starting running back, Steve Slayton. He's the leader with 43 touchdowns in his career. You can see the crowd getting revved up already.
You got to have the crowd. You got to take advantage of the home field. You know, and your fans, the team's jacked up. Now they got to play football.
West Virginia was at home last year. Maryland got wiped out. They got their home crowd behind them. The blackout, as they want to call it, dressed head to toe in black and ready to roll. A little motivation for it. But you know, once you get through this first quarter, it settles into a real football game.
West Virginia won the toss. They deferred to the second half, going somewhat against the trend of this season with the kickoff back at the 30-yard line. We've seen more teams want the football to open it. Instead, it's the Maryland offense in front of this juiced-up sellout crowd. Very good boot by Pat McAfee throughout the end zone. And the Terrapins with the touchback will start at the 20-yard line. Let's meet the Maryland offense. Andrew Crummey introduces to his teammates.
Let's start off with the backfield with a 2-headed rushing attack with K-Lat, or Keon Lattimore, and Lance Boogie Ball. Move out to receiver, the speedy Darius Hayward-Bett. On the offensive line, we have Edwin Williams at center, the quarterback of the offensive line, or Black Ice. We have left guard Jamie Thomas and Scott Swizzle Burley at left tackle.
4 juniors and a senior up front for Maryland. These guys would love to be able to smash this smaller, quicker West Virginia defense. Did not work out last year. Keon Lattimore, the senior, is the tailback. 2 tight ends, and they misfire in the very first snap of the game. West Virginia has recovered at the 20. Mark Magro, the linebacker, got low and got the football, and a disastrous start for Jordan Steffi in his first real big game as a starter.
The real question mark regarding Steffi was whether or not he would be composed. No question about his leadership ability, but he's an antsy guy. Watch him pull out quick. Dougie just got the ball low. He's coming out early.
Yeah, he's an excitable kid, and he might have pulled out a little bit early. I don't know, but last year they had the same problem early on, making mistakes, turnovers. You cannot get behind against this West Virginia team.
And now White Slayton and company have a very short field to work with at the Maryland 20. Slayton and Owen Schmidt flanking White, the quarterback. Slayton bounced and dropped for a loss.
What you see defensively are 7 in the box. That's the running opportunity for West Virginia, but you got to play 7 up the field. Penetration at the line of scrimmage, critical in order to stop West Virginia's offense.
2nd and 12. It's noisy at that end in front of the students. White's got it, and he's got a crease. Pat White into the secondary, into the end zone. And now the noise is coming from the West Virginia end of the stadium. White makes Friedgen's club pay for the early miscue. And there's the speed.
You know, it's exactly like last year's game. Mistakes by Maryland. West Virginia takes advantage of it, sticks it right in the end zone. It was 28-0 at the end of the first quarter last year.
And now 45 seconds into the game. Mountaineers break on top with Pat McAfee for the conversion. Yeah, this is shades of what happened in Morgantown when Friedgen was down 14-0 before his team had run an offensive play. So West Virginia, 1 minute in, puts Friedgen's club in a hole. Another chance for Maryland when you come back. This game is being broadcast on ESPN HD, presented by Pioneer Kuro HD TV. The definition of a bad start for a revved-up home team with a sellout crowd is a fumbled snap on the opening play from scrimmage and then an opponent's touchdown right away.
And this is the definition of a poor assignment. Look at the fullback inside. Look at the eyes. Somebody has to get to the outside for the quarterback. Pat White, once he pulls the ball, they're indecisive. You can't have one linebacker trying to cover a quarterback and the option back. You have to play downfield with great assignment discipline.
That was Jeremy Navarre, the defensive end, who got fooled a bit. And you see Jordan Steffi in his center, Mike Dent practicing the snap. They'll be back on the field momentarily. This is Terrell Skinner for the Terrapins, who's rocked short of the 25-yard line. We mentioned that he's an emotional guy, Steffi. He's played a little bit of football. He's had an interesting, tough career, overcome some adversity. But as a starter, this, Doug, is by far his biggest moment.
You know, he has to come out. I would give him a running play for the quarterback, whether it's a bootleg or a draw or something to get him hit and into the flow of the game and bring him down, calm him down a little bit.
He told Coach Friedgen last year in a game, hey, Coach, let's get me in this game. He needs it.
A solid physical setback. Keon Lattimore is behind Steffi. This time they do execute the snap, and Steffi rolls, has a man. It's complete over the middle. Dan Gronkowski, the junior tight end, with the catch up near the 40-yard line. Gain of 12, and here's Pat White to introduce you to our Steve Slayton, introduce you to the defense.
Starting front three for us, D-line, we got my man Johnny Dingle from Miami. I call him Dingle-relly. Linebacking core, we got my man Mark Medgrove, plays like he's from the 1950s. He's a get-after-you player. In the secondary, we got my man 12 Arms, Eric Wicks, and a new guy for us, Ryan Mundy. That's 22 on the dot there.
He's got the clock in his head like any good quarterback. And up inside. Lattimore, a short gain near the 45. Morty Ivy on the stop.
96, Dykes, nose tackle. Kind of a game-time decision guy, but a very important cog in the middle of this defense. He was questionable whether he played, Doug, but it's important to have him in there, especially at that position in this 3-3-5.
He's their run stopper, and he is their leader in the defensive front, no doubt about it.
He's got a sprained foot. Looks like he's good to go in there, and that's a relief so far for West Virginia fans. Lattimore in the I formation behind Corey Jackson, the fullback, on 2nd and 6. Gets it. Little push to the left side, and Lattimore first down across midfield. That's that physical running game that Friedgen wants to get going to settle down his quarterback.
Very, very nice start. They ran a bootleg on the first play to stretch the defense, make them stay home, and now 2 consecutive runs, gashing them, opening the holes, time of possession.
Dykes 96 in the middle of that nose tackle, about 3 or 4 yards deep, blown out that time. So maybe they're going to go after Dykes, knowing that he's a little suspect with his body.
We've already seen that Maryland needs time of possession tonight. Their first possession was 4 seconds with the fumble snap. They'd like a long march here. It's a low shotgun snap, some miscommunication, and drop for a loss is Lattimore. Scooter Berry, the freshman defensive end, off the edge.
This all goes back to what you alluded to, Chris, in the open. It's a home game, a lot of enthusiasm. You watched the team. We all saw them come out of the tunnel. They sprinted 120 yards. We said, hey, wait a minute. Don't sell out on that.
Well, I'll tell you, if you come out in pregame, it's one of these big hype games, I'd spend all my energy in pregame so I come down to a even keel.
Not me. I save my energy. I needs it.
You didn't need it at quarterback. You just stand there.
Passing situation for Steffi, and West Virginia shows blitz. They do bring pressure. Steffi keeps it up the middle, but gets back just to the original line of scrimmage at the 49. Dykes again playing on a bum foot, active.
I think it's important to let Steffi carry the ball a little bit early like that. Take a few hits. Like I said, that helps you calm down and get into the rhythm of the game. Because if you are a drop back guy, you can get through the whole first quarter without breaking a sweat. He's getting into the game now.
And their offensive linemen up front, they want the line to have the shoulder, the load on their shoulders. 63 right guard. Andrew Crummy, he's one of those guys saying, let's put it on our shoulders and go with it.
Lattimore in the backfield, 3 receivers for Steffi on 3rd and 9. Fires over the middle, caught for a first down. Darius Hayward-Bay breaking free. Yards. That'll help the QB's confidence as he uses the go-to receiver, and there's Ray Lewis.
Yeah, good vision there. Hayward-Bay coming in from the left side. Watch how he settles into the pocket. You see the settling effect, which allows the target to happen.
Great job of sitting down in a zone. Great job of stepping up by the quarterback and sticking it a little high on the throw. Nice grab, brings it down. Now he becomes a runner.
After the fumble snap to open the game, Steffi's 2 for 2 for 45 yards. Hayward-Bay in motion. High formation handoff to Lattimore. Good blocking on the edge, and Lattimore for about 8. Forced out of bounds by Antonio Lewis. Jamie Thomas, that guard, and the fullback Jackson. Some nice blocks over there.
I don't think anybody questions Maryland's ability to play well. They came back last season, had a nice second half of the year, and you called the game last year where they got routed. It's just a matter of composure. West Virginia is used to playing in big games, Doug.
Right, and that's what we saw on the first snap was the fumble. You stay away from those mistakes if you're Maryland, and you can stay in the game. They can run the ball. Obviously, they can throw the ball too now. Just don't make the big mistakes.
This is play 8 of this good-looking drive. 2nd and 3. Lattimore cuts it back, tries to get the outside, the stiff arm, but can't get away from Antonio Lewis. Lewis, a very speedy corner, and he's up there forcing Lattimore out of bounds for a slight loss.
To this point in the season, we've been watching defenses around the country trying to figure out who has a championship-type defense. West Virginia, we don't know that yet. We want to see speed, and we want to see togetherness. You ask Maryland's offensive line if that 3-3-5 is a little soft, and they unanimously said no. It's a downhill physical defense.
But what it does, more than anything, it can confuse an offensive line. If you know your assignments against it, then you can run the football on it.
3 tight end look with Hayward-Bay in motion on 3rd and 2. Pure power football, and Lattimore cuts it for a first down inside the 5. This is what those Maryland offensive linemen and Andrew Crummy, the ringleader, this is what they said they wanted to do.
Any offensive lineman wants this. That's what they beg for every week, no matter what level you're at.
63.
They want to run the ball.
The push by 63 on Dykes. He's pushing the pile. They're up front, moving it. Crummy was intense in our meetings. Now, I'm telling you, you didn't want to ask a negative question to the guy.
Very smart guy, though, too.
Yeah.
You're afraid of a college kid, huh?
Absolutely.
First and goal. Lattimore wants to throw it lefty. Lobs into the end zone. Incomplete over the head of Gronkowski. Now they get tricky down here on first and goal.
What, they think they're in Canada? They threw that football too far.
Well, he had a guy in his face. He did the smart thing, put it up over the top in a safe spot. But you're right, Chris. There's no need to take a risk yet. I mean, you save that for when a situation. They're pounding the football right now.
I'm going to take the other side. Ralph Friedgen now. He's got a defense pinning their ears back, and it was open. It was just a bad pass, and he did not throw the ball on time, or it's a touchdown.
I'll give you that.
I hope he throws it better in practice. Now Lattimore, after the incompletion, the lone setback. Laquan Williams in motion. Lattimore's got it. Cuts it back. To the goal line. Touchdown, Terrapins. Nothing tricky there, just power football. And Maryland atones for the mistake and answers the Mountaineers touchdown. Obi Egekeze, first-year kicker, handling the snap. Good job there as Matt Goldberg. 75 yards in 11 plays. And Ray Lewis nicked up a bit for the Ravens. Comes down the highway and watches Maryland tie it at 7.
ESPN's College Football Primetime is presented by Applebee's Neighborhood Grill and Bar, eating good in the neighborhood, and in part by the Accord, Beyond the Road, all new from Honda.
Get a little feast out here. It's a short road trip for the West Virginia faithful.
We're going to cut these up and have some nice cheesesteaks, even though we're here in Maryland. The only thing we're missing is a little crab.
Crab cakes there.
Little slices on the steaks. Nice little sizzle. Good walking. Smell it.
Where are the crab cakes, Craig? Did you eat them all last night?
Hey, that's what we do in Maryland.
That's right. Crab cakes and football. That's what Maryland does, baby.
That's your one movie line out of The Wedding Crashers.
Wedding Crashers. Right. That a boy. Jumbo lump, no filler. All right.
That would have cost you $38 a dinner last
they're about
night.
$30 a piece, but they're pretty good. Chris Roberts, the junior, to kick off for Maryland. The deep man is Noel Devine, the super recruit at running back. The next Steve Slayton, who's made an impact this year already. Devine very quick. Be careful with this guy. Slips a couple tackles, gets out near the 35-yard line.
Let's go back and take a look at the touchdown. Now, Lattimore did a nice job of running, but this really all starts up front. Want to watch these two tight ends over here. Watch the execution of the down block. And the linebackers cannot get off those two tight ends. Inside execution by the offensive
down block created so much space that the linebackers trying to fill, they can't win. There's too much space. The linemen get up on them, make a miss, get in the end zone.
Too many logs on the field out there.
That's a good drive for Lattimore. He had 29 yards on 7 carries. And the 4-yard touchdown. So Maryland answers after the early miscue. The conference by the officials on the sidelines now. This is a Big East officiating crew.
Replay equipment has been fixed.
Didn't know it was broken, but thank you. Nothing worth the replay so far, thankfully. Slayton to the left of Pat White. White, first pass attempt of the evening, fires complete to Tito Gonzalez, the junior from Tampa. And Slayton introduces you to his offensive teammates.
Starting with the Fab Five, we have the left tackle Ryan Stanchek, come dancing man. We got running the point quarterback number 5, Pat White. He makes it happen. Number 2, receiver Darius Reynard from Louisiana, and gets busy.
It's tough when you can throw in first down and pick up 8 yards. I formation, they pitch it. Slayton can't get the corner, but does get the first down between Moses Foku there on the tackle. The preseason All-American Aaron Henderson introduces you to his defensive teammates.
Up front, we got our space eaters, Dre Moore, Carlos Feliciano.
The linebacker core along with myself, we got Moses Foku, Dave Magic Philistine. The secondary, we got Kevin Barnes, a.k.a. Deuce, Z Gardner, number 5 on the other side.
Henderson, the sophomore little brother of Butkus and Bednarik Award winner E.J. Henderson, now with the Vikings. In motion is Slayton, but this is big. Owen Schmidt with the fake, and Slayton with a running start gets the pitch down inside the 40. Thought for a second Schmidt had the football, and so did the defense.
And again, it's assignment football. When you're running the option, everybody wants to take the dive away, but at some point you have to be spread out. You see Slayton start in the slot, goes to the top of the field. They're out of position. There's no chance. Look at that gap. You can't play like that.
Those defensive ends for the Terrapins having a tough evening so far. They've been fooled a few times. First down. A fumble by White, who picks it up and has the quickness to turn it into a short gain.
You know, you talk about guys being out of position. I think it's Pat White making his reads correctly. He sees the end or tackle, whoever he's reading on the particular play, crash down. Then he pulls it out. Options the outside guy, and the safety's going to have to come all the way up the field to get to the back.
It's option football. You have to play assignment defensive football, and you have to be physical with it.
And 2nd and 8. And it down incomplete. Raynaud, the intended receiver. He's a guy that defenses have to be very aware of this year. Everybody talks about White and Slayton. Raynaud in number 2. Leading receiver with 14 catches is a dangerous guy as well.
He looks like a running back when the ball's in his hands.
No tight end, 2 backs, 3 receivers on 3rd and 8. Maryland students making a lot of noise at this end. White fires short, caught. Slayton has room, has a first down inside the 30. 4th catch of the year for Slayton. Dave Philistine, the middle backer, hauls him down.
Formation changes, trying to keep a defensive coordinator from really pinning their ears back on Slayton. We've seen Slayton far wide left. Here we are. He's out wide right now, Doug, so you're able to get him with that bubble screen over there.
Watch the right guard and right tackle. Release and get out in front. West Virginia has athletic offensive linemen.
That's the key to the offense, isn't it? Quick guys up front and in the backfield. White fakes a pass. Now does fire to Raynaud. Makes a little move and gets hammered inside the 25. Defense does a good job, but it's still a positive play. They still pick up 5.
The coaching staffs, both teams, really were concerned with how they prepared their ball clubs for this Thursday night game. They're tired. Their teams were tired. West Virginia had 2 physical practices. Maryland had 1 physical practice, but Friedgen was a little concerned that maybe his guys, Doug, were gassed.
Oh, they're kids. Come on. They're between 18 and 21. They could go all night.
Oh, I don't know about that.
They've recovered. This is the emotion right now. 4th quarter, we'll see how tired people are.
2nd and 5. This is Schmidt banging ahead. The ex-walk-on, ex-Wisconsin River Falls fullback. A flag in the play.
Did I hear River Falls?
Wisconsin River Falls.
There you go, Division III.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little transfer over.
Well, Schmidt sent out tapes to big schools when he came out of high school. They said no thanks. Headed to Wisconsin, then walked on here, and he's become a star.
Illegal formation on the offense. 6 men on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. Replay 2nd down.
Schmidt's a great story. I mean, the guy is a freak of nature. How strong he is. 525-pound power clean. How about the Mohawk going there? Huh?
Yeah, how about
like a guy? Now, how would you like to be a linebacker and seeing that coming at you, boss?
That's a tough look, man.
Mom, I'm coming home.
525 power clean. That's pretty good, huh?
That's off the charts. I've never heard of that. Never. 500 pounds plus?
You go down and lift it to your chest, not over your head.
I would be there next. I would just be clapping in the weight room.
But he did put 400 plus over his head one time to finish it off.
You said he's freaky strong. After the penalty at 2nd and 10, Schmidt gives it to Slayton. Blocked from White, but too much traffic. Dre Moore in the corner, Isaiah Gardner were there. Maryland trying to rip the football out of Slayton's hands. No, well schooled that time.
Great job staying home by the Maryland defense. Not fooled on the play, not over pursuing, sitting back. Pat White even tried to throw a block on that play, by the way.
And Rich Rodriguez is so good with his mind. The next time that you see that coming around, don't be surprised to see Slayton pull up and throw the ball down the field.
They converted on 3rd and 1 before with Slayton as a receiver. Now Slayton's in the slot to the left on 3rd and 13. Again, White has trouble with the snap and has to take the loss. Second time tonight, Doug, he's bottled that shotgun snap.
A lot of times that happens when you're taking your eye off the ball to either check a coverage, a blitz, or you want to get rid of the ball quickly and you just take your eye off the snap a little bit. You know, we all know how great an athlete Pat White is. That shouldn't happen.
And Pat McAfee is both the punter and the field goal kicker, but the penalty and the loss move him back out of range. And now McAfee will try to pooch it down there. A very low line drive punt, bounces. And a good job by the Terrapins, or the Mountaineers coverage team. Larry Williams pins Maryland back at the 1-yard line. The big story in the Maryland campus, a noose was found hanging from a tree last Thursday outside the Black Cultural Center, investigated by campus police and the FBI as a hate crime. As you can imagine, reaction on campus has been shock over the last week.
We have so many multicultural events and so many different people from different places that for somebody to think that this was okay and acceptable on a college campus such as Maryland and such a well-known campus is just disheartening.
So Maryland, after an 11-play, 75-yard drive, tied the score, makes a stand on defense, but now very, very tricky field position at the 3. Two extremes. Steffi fumbling the snap in the first play from scrimmage, but the next possession a very poised march. I formation, Hayward Bay in motion. Lattimore is the setback, and he gets the call. Give it to the steady senior down there inside the 5, but he gets just a yard.
Well, this gives you a chance for time of possession.
Drive that thing 90-something yards here. I wouldn't be surprised to go play action and just lay one up to Darius and let him just go up and make a play for you down the field.
Doug, you can't. You're going to have to beat West Virginia. You just can't sit back there and think you're going to play, you know, time of possession, field, and everything. You got to go down.
Got to make a shot.
You can be cautious, but if you punt the ball back to him and give it to you at the plus 45, you're in trouble anyway. Again, it's Hayward Bay, motion at the top of the screen. They give it to Lattimore again. Little stutter step, and he gets around the corner near the first down marker. Malik, the safety, there to force him out. They're going to mark it at the 18. Should be good for a very important Maryland first down.
The offensive line for Maryland showed up tonight, guys. They're out there playing. 76 comes around the corner, and Jamie Thomas just absolutely led them to a first down.
They closed down the whole corner, bounced outside. To run the ball 2 runs in a row off your own goal line and pick up a first down is huge.
To be 340 and be in motion and making a block, that's impressive.
And scary if you're a corner.
Hayward Bay in the slot. Do they trust Steffi to throw it down here? Yes, play action, steps up away from pressure, flips it short, and it's caught. Corey Jackson, the fullback. Not a first down, but picks up 8. First down throw.
Great poise by Steffi. Stepping up inside the block. A little bit of pressure, steps up. Nice, calm, relaxed, completed.
Ralph Regent said there's never any question about whether or not Steffi knows where the ball should go. Sometimes he studies it and he makes a quick decision and gets off a receiver. Underneath, though, the underneath game is always on time.
Yeah, part of that is slowing yourself down to the pace of the game and not getting sped up.
The third start in Steffi's career, but the first real quality opponent that he's faced. Lattimore cuts left. Maryland uses a rotating tailback system. We'll see Lance Ball the next couple of series. Lattimore goes 2 series, then his fellow senior Lance Ball, then Lattimore comes back, although Friedgen has said he wants to get to a system, Craig, and you know something about tailback rotations, I think, where the hot hand gets more of the action.
2 series to me is a long time to sit out. I like the every other series deal. And then, you know, if you go 3 plays and out, then maybe you go right back. But you got to really monitor it from the sidelines. Otherwise, a back on the sidelines gets crystallized.
Yeah, but he's also trying to let one guy get into the flow. I'm sure if they break a long run, he may come out. The idea is keep a fresh guy in there.
Crystallized.
You know, you get stoved up.
Oh, okay. Low snap. Lattimore takes a handoff and muscles ahead across the 30. Crystallized.
You know what it's like when you get like open a jar of jelly or something. You know, it's you crystallize. You know, if you let it sit there long enough, it's going to crystallize. You ready to take that in chemistry?
Yeah, I'm old, so when I get to that point, it's rigor mortis just setting in on you.
I never heard that word described for the state of sitting on the bench. I'll tell you what. Lattimore's been anything but crystallized. Very busy, 11 carries already for 49 yards. Different look now on 2nd and 2. Steffi's a good runner. Can't get away, though. Making the stop was Morty Ivy. Near a first down mark. This might require a measurement.
Steffi shows great feet here. A lot of quickness there. I think he's quicker than he is fast. He's probably about a 4'6" guy, but his quickness with his feet, his ability to cut laterally is excellent.
No measurement. It's a Maryland first down. Now to Aaron Andrews.
Chris, just to revisit the situation that you spoke about with the potential possible hate crime last week, there was a gathering this past Tuesday with several hundred students that got together and just expressed their emotions about the discovery of the news. Maryland's president, C.D. Moe Jr., also released 2 emails this week saying university would not tolerate a situation like this, as well as the fact that an investigation is going on.
And they promised us swift justice, Aaron, if anybody is found to be guilty of that hate crime.
Chris, they certainly did, and to add on that, his second email mentioned the fact that no suspects have been identified in the investigation yet, and it will continue. I spoke with linebacker Aaron Henderson this week about the situation. He said he was in complete disbelief, very surprised. He had no idea, never really figured out why it would happen on this particular campus. He said it won't affect the campus's mood, and it's not something you would see here.
And a lot of students share that stunned reaction of Henderson. Aaron, thank you. After the loss, 2nd and 13. They'll run it with Lattimore one more time. Again, he cut free. Keon Lattimore, first down. A flag comes in very late. It's in the holding zone, well after Lattimore had gotten past the line of scrimmage.
Craig, I thought he made a bad cut at the line of scrimmage initially, but he just made a guy miss in the hole, an unblocked defender, and burst it up through there. Obviously, flag on the play.
His figures to negate what would have been a first down.
2 fouls on the play. Holding. The defense, offense, face mask, the defense. Those penalties offset. Replay 2nd down.
What's happening here, though, the reason that you see it, that you think there's a bad cut, he can get away with it because the offensive line's blowing him off up front. I mean, this offensive line is dominating the middle, specifically the nose tackle, getting no push, no drive, no pursuit from the defensive line. Dyke's in the middle of the field. He's got a lot on his shoulders. You know, they said they'd try to rotate in and out if he couldn't do it. I just don't think he's got his feet under him tonight.
This is a defense that was very good against the run against Western Michigan and Marshall the first 2 games. But Maryland, obviously, a little more imposing running game to deal with. Mountaineers have been burned by the pass so far this year. That's been the weakness in defense coming into this game. And Steffi will pass on 2nd and long. Fires complete to Isaiah Williams. The junior from Montclair, New Jersey. Von Rivers forces him out. You like that arm from Steffi?
Long throw there. I liked it.
Just a little curl route out on the outside, and he just what is impressing me is his poise in the pocket. He didn't rush the throw, took his time, delivered the ball with an accurate, on-time throw.
Chris, you think Ralph Friedgen would be pleased with a 7-7 score at the end of the first quarter, considering how he started out?
A lot of us would be pleased if it's not 28-0 after the first quarter, as it was last year. Key 3rd down play, 3rd and 3. Mountaineers show pressure. Steffi again steps up. Will not get the first down. Morty Ivy was the middle linebacker there to hold up Steffi, and his teammates were quick to fill. Terrapins have the punt.
Not sure that's the play out of putting the ball in the hands of from offensive line going like it has been between the tackles.
Now they want to use Steffi as a runner, though. That's one of his attributes.
Let's do that on 1st and 10, Coach.
And when
3rd and 2, let's give it to a ball carrier.
When you do use the quarterback as a runner, though, you can block everybody on the field. It's the extra guy. Instead of handing the ball off, now he's carrying it. You have an opportunity to block everything.
You know, Josh Portis is a great athlete. He's been suspended for the year. Academic integrity violation. Cheating on a quiz reportedly. So the job belongs to Steffi. Portis is the kind of athlete that could make that play work. Instead, Terrapins must punt, but yes, a much better start than this border feud produced last year. 7-7 after 15 in College Park. It's the first punt for Maryland. Travis Baltz, a true freshman, filling in for a 4-year starter who was drafted in the 4th round by the Jaguars. Adam Podlesh. Good start to his career so far. Maryland hasn't had a punt block since '99. A streak of 87 games. Good protection there. And Vaughn Rivers thought he called for a fair catch. Now he decides to run it across the 20. I thought he saw his arm shoot up there.
Yeah, they were getting a little close there, and that ball dropped. It never turned over, so those are a little tricky to catch.
Good coverage by the Terrapins. Well, what's going to happen in the Big House? Which powerhouse program is going to lose for a 5th straight time? Who's going to drop to 0-3? Which freshman quarterback, Mallett or Clausen, will play well? ABC. Folks have different reasons to watch Notre Dame and Michigan on Saturday, don't they?
We just know that a freshman quarterback will be the winning quarterback.
And probably the losing quarterback.
How about if one of those teams is going to be 0-3?
I'm going to ask you guys later on tonight which team you think has more riding on that battle of 0-2 teams. Mountaineers with their 22. Slayton, nowhere to run. Carlos Feliciano, the tackle, and Navarre holding their ground on that right side.
Spoke to John Tenuta, defensive coordinator at Georgia Tech today, who's had to defend this West Virginia offense before. And John just said simply, man, you play 7 men. You have to force Pat White to throw the football. If you load up in there, you're really hurting yourself.
No doubt about it. You just can't watch White and Slayton run down the field with the ball. Make them throw it.
White, nowhere to run, and there's Aaron Henderson on the tackle. A preseason All-American, on pace to have the kind of career that his big brother EJ did, leading tackler on this team.
Did you see how he tackled, Chris? Did you see him come down the hill? He went and got Pat White. You don't wait on Pat White to come get you. Number 1, Henderson comes and gets White. See him come down the hill?
And wraps him up, gets the arms around him.
And they did it with 7 in the box that time.
And a tackle that Ray Lewis would appreciate.
Yeah, buddy.
3rd and 11. 5 receivers set wide for White. A rush 4. White, plenty of time. Fires, almost intercepted. Threw it into traffic, and Kevin Barnes was defending, and a flag comes out. Darrell Jallo was the receiver. Did Barnes get there too soon?
Looked like he went through the receiver.
Pass interference on the defense. It's a first down. It's by the foul.
He was in great, he was in great position, but he did go through the receiver and created the contact. So you got to give the receiver a chance to catch the ball. But he was in great position. Both Barnes and Gardner are excellent corners. He went through the shoulder. He was in a great position to make a play.
First down after the penalty. Slayton's got it. Cuts back. Very quick 10 yards. Trey Covington on the tackle. Now flags flying in after the tackle. We wondered if this might be a chippy game. No history of that, but West Virginia has dominated. Nobody on this Maryland team has beaten them unless they were redshirt freshmen 4 years ago.
Dead ball foul. 62 on the offense.
That's the tackle, Ryan Stanchek, back about 15 yards. Aaron?
Yes, we've been talking about how this Maryland defense is fired up. On Monday when they got into the locker room, there were copies of Steve Slayton's Sports Illustrated cover all over their stalls. Also magazines with Pat White and Owen Schmidt everywhere. Aaron Henderson told me, I just threw mine out. He said, last year's first quarter, motivation enough for us. If that isn't for you, then don't bother suiting up tonight.
Lots of reasons for inspiration. Again, they do a decent job filling, but the speed of Slayton earns him 7 yards. Let's go back to Reese Davis for a 30 at 30 update. Reese?
All right, Chris, punishment for the Patriots spyware scandal just handed down by the NFL. Head coach Bill Belichick will be personally fined $500,000 and the team fined $250,000 for videotaping opponent signals. And if the Patriots make the playoffs as anticipated, they will forfeit a first-round draft pick in the 2008 draft. Number 1 overall pick in the 2007 NBA draft, Greg Oden's going to miss the entire season after having microfracture surgery on his right knee. SportsCenter after the game. You can stay current with ESPN News.
Reese, thank you. That was big. Owen Schmidt rumbling right up the middle of the field, down inside the 25-yard line, 44 yards.
Yeah, but look at the lane assignment here. You got to get people inside. Nobody's on the fullback. You got to stop the fullback dive.
The last time we showed the replay, though, we closed down on the fullback and White pulled it. So it's a matter of reading the defense.
You got to stop the fullback first and foremost.
He's a guy, the next walk-on is an NFL future 250 running like that. The tremendous strength that you talked about earlier, Craig. Slayton explodes inside the 5 and slams down to the 2.
You want to talk about a hole a mile wide. Look at this one. And all of this is reading the defense and making the correct read as a quarterback and giving it to the right guy.
It doesn't hurt when you have a line match hats. You spread the defense out. And Maryland right now is having to cover 52 yards out there. Now, how wide the field is, Doug?
53.
It's 50. I was just making sure you knew. I had a coach.
That's right.
It's 65, he walked it off.
65 in Canada.
Yeah.
How about 63 yards in those 2 running plays? Suddenly, Mountaineers had the momentum and a first and goal. Rain out in the slot. Schmidt next to White. White. Shoved wide and dropped for a loss. Mac Frost putting the chill on that play. Huge play for the Terrapin defense. It's back at the 8 now.
2 tights. You're assuming short yardage goal line that you're not going to have somebody come clean, but you're getting beat up front. Manhandled.
You're using your fullback as a fullback. The 2 tights is your tight end, and Pat White is now your tailback. It's a regular two-back run.
Slayton back in the game now to the left of White. Darius Raynaud in the slot. Schmidt goes nowhere, loses his helmet, and is ganged up on at the 8. Dre Moore, the defensive tackle, the senior from Charlotte, knocked off the hat and exposed the mohawk there.
No problem.
Put that helmet back on.
If anybody loses the helmet, it probably would be okay in a football game. It would be Schmidt.
Well, he's used to breaking face masks, right? That's
He's got 8. He has 8 now that he's busted up. But you talk about, hey, that's off the charts, folks.
Didn't help him there, though. Maryland had a lot of strong guys in the neighborhood. And from first and goal inside the 5, 2 successful plays sets up 3rd and goal at the 8. White hands to Slayton. Just back to the 5. Feliciano there on the tackle. Senior out of Jersey. White, a critical series for Maryland's defense after those 2 huge plays set the Mountaineers up inside the 5.
Well, that's a situation where it's 3rd and long, and Pat White has to be a passing quarterback. Spread the field, a legitimate route. Instead, they go to their option run game and don't get it done.
This is the first field goal attempt of the season for Pat McAfee. 22 yards. And their first attempt is unsuccessful. Rodriguez's team comes up empty after a long drive. Maryland gets momentum back in a 7-7 game. We've already shown you superstar Ray Lewis here to watch this ball game. We'll talk to him when we come back to College Park. Maryland trying for a real landmark win here. 7-7 in the second quarter. A disastrous start for the Terrapins with a turnover on their first play. They steady themselves. And now Lance Ball taking his turn to the backfield behind Steffi. First carry of the night for the other senior in the tailback rotation. Short game. Now you've seen Ray Lewis on the sideline, of course, the great from the Baltimore Ravens. And his Nap brother, Keon Lattimore, running well so far. Ray, you said we. Now, are you embracing the Terrapins as your college team right now?
Well, I'm embracing them right now, yeah, because my blood is over there. So I have to. And my little brother's doing a great job. He's running the ball very hard. But I'm a Terrapin tonight.
Now, what would you say to this Maryland defense against all that speed on the West Virginia side, having to be disciplined and know their reads?
Yeah, you know what? Actually, I would tell them to make sure they take one play at a time. And it's a very complicated offense to deal with. You know, even in the National Football League, you know, dealing with Vince Young in Tennessee, they run the same package. But when you have it in college, you know, you just really have to take your time, slow down, and just take one play at a time. And they should have great success.
You talked to Keon. How does he like that tailback rotation where he's in there for 2 series and he's out of there for 2 series? Right now it's Ball.
Well, yeah, you know what? I think it's always tough because, you know, he's the type of back that wants to touch the ball 25, 30 times. You know, but, you know, I mean, we understand the rotation things that goes on in college, you know, and he's only preparing himself for the next level. So, like I told him, understanding what's going on because you never know what's going on, but he understands what sharing time means, you know, and I think he's making the best of it.
Third down for Steffi and company at the 22-yard line.
And cover 3. Your out route. Your out route. Throw your ball. Throw the out route.
You heard Ray Lewis say throw the out route. Doug, was it there? Was that a good read?
It was down the bottom. It was
down the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, I got you, Ray. I got you.
Wait a minute, Ray.
One-on-one on the outside.
Bottom of your screen. How do you have a screen down there?
I don't have a screen, but I can see the safety rotate over.
That's right. Read the rotation. The safeties never lie. Corners always lie.
Safeties never lie. Corners always lie.
Ray, let me ask you this. If you were the defensive coordinator at Maryland tonight and y'all trying to go against this zone read quarterback, how would you defend it?
Well, you know, the thing you don't want to do is just sit back and wait on them because they dictate them. I think you're going to really have to come after them to get them off of their edge. You know, if you let Slayton control the game the way he's controlling the game so far, it's going to be a long night. So bottom line is I think I would blitz them and make outside players show me that they're going to throw the ball way more than they're going to run this option.
Vaughn Rivers with a return up near the 48-yard line. Ray, you got nicked up in the opening game. What's your status for Sunday's game against the Jets?
Oh man, I'm beautiful. You know. It was a scare back then, but I tell you, once I got through that game, I truly understood that, you know, it was just a tear. I had an MRI, you know, I mean, there's no surgery required, anything like that. So I'm ready for the Jets. I'm excited. You know, we got off to a bad start. You know, we don't want that many turnovers in the opener, you know, but I think we got some good things going. So I'm excited to play for the Jets. Play against the Jets this week.
Yeah, we had talked to Chad Johnson before the game last week, and he said if they get that win, that means they got the division. Now, you're not willing to concede the division after one game, are you?
I tell you what, now, if he believes that, then he done forgot about the rest of the 15 games we have to play.
Hey, Ray, many years ago, you're a young guy playing at Florida State. You told Fowler and me that you're going to be the best linebacker that Miami ever had come through there.
I remember that. Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, prophetic, my man.
I remember that.
What are your feelings about the Orange Bowl going down?
I'm hurting about that one now. I'm serious. I'm hurt about that because that's just a stadium you don't take down for nothing.
A lot of great memories in the whole horseshoe in Little Havana. First down for the Mountaineers at the 22. White will fire on first down, completes it to Raynaud, who slips a tackle and gets up near the first down yardage at the 32. Tough loss for the Canes, Ray. I'm sure you're aware they went to Oklahoma, and Oklahoma made Miami look not very fast. What about the Canes in 07, and can they regroup?
Yeah, no, I truly believe they can, but you know what? It looks like it's going to be a couple years. You know, the camaraderie has to come back there. You know, and when we saw that Oklahoma game, I'm like, wow, is Oklahoma that good, or we took that big a fall? And it kind of looked like we took that big a fall. So Randy's going to get the program right. You know, he's going to get the players in the right positions to make plays, and we're going to go on from there. We'll be back, though. We'll be back. Oh, my goodness.
Was the reaction the speed of Slayton there? What was the on the field, oh, my goodness, from
Yeah. You got to stop him early. You got to stop him early. Don't let him get started.
You're going to be tackling this guy, number 10, pretty soon in the NFL, whether it's next year or the year after that.
Well, you know, you can also phrase that differently. He's going to be running from me in a year or so.
Or you might be missing him. Is that what's going on?
White still got it. Henderson wraps him up, but he should have a first out of the 43.
Hey, Ray, this Owen Schmidt fullback at West Virginia, 525-pound power clean.
Wow. Number 35?
Yeah, have you ever heard of somebody power cleaning 525 pounds?
Not in my life. Wow.
He's messed up 8 different face masks in his career.
For what, just hitting people?
Just hitting people, blowing them up, bending masks, have to take them off.
Well, he's mad at somebody. See, he's probably mad at somebody.
Hey, Ray, thanks for taking time. We appreciate it. Best of luck Sunday against the Jets.
Hey, man, thank you guys, bud.
All right, see you, Ray.
All right, man.
Fun to have Ray join us. He loves his football. He was into it down there.
He was.
Making the reads for the quarterback.
Oh, yeah. He knows coverage. He knows rotation. He knows where the ball should go.
To be a coach.
He knows the weakness of a defense as well.
No weakness from Dre Moore. Good stop. You know, Maryland has done a good job creating negative running plays for West Virginia. That's the 6th loss they've taken in a running play. They've also given up some big plays.
They're playing up the field. They're playing on the other side some.
I'm going to say, does that make them vulnerable for a pass play? That one thrown behind Raynaud off his hands.
Looks to me like the safeties are playing a little tighter for run support off of that option look. The last time West Virginia ran the option, the fullback was covered, the quarterback had a guy responsible for him, and the pitchback was covered. So they're bringing the extra guy up there and putting the pressure on their secondary.
Well, we said it earlier. You would want, Maryland's defense would want to have Pat White have to beat them with his arm.
Lewis' reaction there. Now,
he wants to make the play.
It's be a big reaction from everybody if they can stop him on 3rd and 11. Pump fake to Raynaud, short, goes deep, has a man, a double move, and Raynaud hauls it in. White kind of faked it to him, and they sneak Raynaud out, and Anthony Wiseman didn't stay with him.
I talked with defensive back coach Kevin Lempa of the Maryland Terrapins. He said we have to stop the wheel route, the out and up by the second receiver.
That's Raynaud right there. And he's going to go to the out, and then he's going to get back up the field. But it's all a matter because they've moved the pocket. That
Pump faked it in there too.
He has time to get the route developed. I mean, it's a long developing route.
It's one thing to know it's coming. It's another thing to stop it.
Raynaud already 3 catches. Gives him 17 on the year. 35 yards on the biggest pass play of the night for White. It's not just White and Slayton. Number 2 has become a real threat in his senior year. They go back to Slayton. Has the sidelines and score. He's got big-time speed, Ray. 22 yards just like that from 3rd and 11 a minute ago. Mountaineers convert and now score.
Watch the arm tackle inside out. Lineman can't deal with it. Run past arm tackles. If you've got that speed, run past the arm tackle.
Schmidt is fullback, getting upfield, making a nice block, made it look easy.
Pat McAfee for the conversion. 78 yards in 7 plays. They do it in 2:18 as the Mountaineers jump in front 14-7.
ESPN's College Football Primetime, brought to you by Aflac, ask about it at work, and Mercedes-Benz, located on the web at nbusa.com.
Now, Steve Slayton's 44th career touchdown against his school that he is very motivated against. Slayton out of Pennsylvania. Had a scholarship offer, was taken away by Maryland. He found out from a reporter in a phone conversation. Most schools wanted him to play defensive back anyway. But a pretty good running back.
Well, Ralph Friedgen just said, hey, I had too many guys here and I had to, give it up,
He admits he messed up. Every coach has those mess-ups on his resume.
He said he's got the Slayton rule now. Basically, he says if you get a guy who's really fast and who's really good in the classroom, you take him. He learned a lesson there, and sometimes you get lucky.
You can't have enough good kids, enough good character-type players.
You can't have enough guys who run 4-3 either.
Kick out of bounds. It's West Virginia. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Kick.
I know what he was thinking.
I know.
He wanted to have some defensive backs that when they intercept the ball can take it to the house.
Yep.
So 4 times a year he'll get to touch the ball.
But don't you think that Rich Rodriguez?
I know you're kidding there, Dad. I know you're kidding.
Rodriguez,
get that guy the rock.
Sends a Christmas present to Ralph every year, saying, "Hey, buddy, thanks for pulling that scholarship off the table."
He's glad they don't play next year. This is the last meeting until 2010. It's been 27 uninterrupted years. McAfee's kick out of bounds gave Maryland the option. They chose to have him re-kick it from the 25.
Well, that's a big number right there. So if you're a Maryland Terrapin defensive guy, you better go into the halftime, get you a good soda water, and get your horse cinched up tighter, because the second half Slayton shows up.
Well, he did against Marshall last week. You realize West Virginia had 316 yards rushing in the second half. 199 in the fourth quarter, rushing in one quarter. McAfee boots it along the ground. Maryland should get pretty good field position. Nolan Carroll muscles up near the 40. So Maryland answered before when West Virginia scored. Can they do it again? 14-7 as we approach halftime in College Park.
The 25 greatest players in college football history, presented by IBM. Starting this Saturday, IBM, getting it done.
We'll count down 25-1 throughout the season. Voted on by a panel of former coaches, former players, media members. I hope at least one of us in this booth makes that list.
Congratulations, Chris.
Nobody asked me, Doug, but you'd be on the list. Play action fake to Ball, and they throw instead of the fullback Jackson. Short completion. You guys ready for the Affleck trivia question? Notre Dame and Michigan facing each other in the Big House Saturday, both at 0-2. When was the last time both of these traditional powerhouses had losing seasons? Now, long way to go for them to have losing seasons.
The last together,
time,
at the same time.
Yeah, the last time that both of them together had losing seasons. Don't answer. Let me think in case you know it.
Yeah, I
just
know.
in case.
Did I look like I was getting ready to be a Vern, jump out there on you?
No. But I thought maybe you paid attention to the production meeting. Ball on the cutback, barrels up near midfield, has a first down.
That's a dangerous assumption, because there was food involved in our meeting today.
Now Ball goes about 225. He's at a T-necked jersey, about the same size as Keon Lattimore. A similar style runner.
He's got great feet for a guy that's built low to the ground. 5'9", 223. He's a bowling ball type runner with quick feet that can make people miss.
Maybe not quite the burst that Lattimore has, but Ball also really experienced. He was the leading rusher a year ago for the Terrapins. It's been Lattimore so far this season. Ball gets the call again. When would you expect Maryland might take a shot downfield? They've had success power running.
Formation change now. Trips to the wide side of the field. Little zone read on the inside, and they're going to work and try to spread them out.
Usually those shots come just as you enter the red zone, somewhere around the 30 to 35 yard line, or when you're backed up in your own end.
Again, three receivers to the right. Steffi hands it off. Ball fighting for yards, gets to the 45. John David Booty and the top-ranked Trojans visit Nebraska. It's a primetime game on ABC, 8 o'clock Eastern time. One of the biggest games in recent years for the Cornhuskers. Are they ready to step up and win a statement game?
Sam Keller has to play a perfect game.
Perfect game?
Has to play a perfect game. Because you know Carroll's going to try to confuse him in the backfield with his defenses.
How often has a QB played a perfect game against the Trojan defense?
So I guess that answers your question.
3rd and 4. Steffi gets away from the rushing corner and just throws it away. Oh, it's intercepted. Thought he was throwing it away. Instead, Eric Wicks, the safety, was waiting and picks it off.
I honestly believe he was trying to throw it away and didn't get it there. I was coached back in college. The ball should land in row E when you're throwing a ball away. When you're throwing away, throw it away.
Doug, I don't think he was trying to throw it away. I think he thought his receiver was going to pull off and go up the field. But this is what the coaches were worried about in the meetings, is making plays. Here's your receiver right here. He's expecting his receiver to come up the field and fight for the ball, and he didn't. But making poor decisions, game clock management, trying to get down. 3 points would have been huge for them right here.
Coach, he's trying to make a play, and he did for the other team.
Encouraging him to take a shot, go downfield, be a little riskier, but that was not the situation. So the second turnover for Steffi sets up the Mountaineers, and Slayton knifes for about 6. Let's go to Reese Davis and check out what's upcoming on the Pontiac Performance Halftime Report. Reese.
All right, Chris, we'll have all the details on the Patriots' punishment just handed down a little while ago by the NFL for videotaping opponent signals. The Blazers' Greg Oden, #1 pick in the NBA draft this past year, rookie season over before it starts. And Lou Holtz will give his pep talk to a team that really needs it, Nebraska. Mark May's here too.
Forward to that. White on 2nd and 4, takes a shot downfield, overthrows, rated almost intercepted. Christian Varner, the diving attempt, couldn't quite hold on to it.
Now, clock management here for West Virginia, up 14-7. You had a turnover. Maryland has all 3 timeouts, so they need to hold them here and call timeout, get the ball back in their hands, try to go down the field.
And West Virginia being as explosive as they can be, he had a shot here completing this pass, but missed it. Being as explosive as they can be, they know they have the opportunity to march this ball, and they're thinking score.
Mountaineers 2 of 4 on 3rd down so far tonight. White clobbered by Henderson for a loss. Another downhill charge by #1 into the backfield, and the Terrapins, after the big stop.
Chris Kosh, defensive coordinator, did a nice job here of game planning against a tendency. Had the right call on. His defense made the adjustment. Pre-snap, listened to the call at the line of scrimmage.
A blitzer came off the slot receiver, and Pat White took a hesitant step to look to dump it to the slot receiver, and Reynald wasn't looking, so he had to tuck it under his arm and run it up in there.
Not good to be hesitant when #1 is in the neighborhood. Maryland spends the timeout. They'll get the ball back. West Virginia perhaps could have run more clock had they not had that downfield shot. Now Maryland has some time.
Now, here's where Jordan Steffi has to really be on the sidelines and forget what just happened in the previous series.
Here's the answer to our Affleck trivia question. The last time Michigan and Notre Dame both finished with a losing record. We'll give you some visual clues here. 1963, the year that Staubach won the Heisman Trophy at Navy. Irish went 2-7. Good pressure for the Terrapins. Almost got to McAfee. And Varner makes the fair catch. And the Terrapins, with 1:26 to work with before halftime, will have very good field position. Yeah, back in '63. Of course, the Vietnam War ongoing. Tragic events in Dallas. Roger Staubach, who Corso still says is the best player he's ever seen, won the Heisman Trophy that year.
So in other words, it was a long time ago.
63. Yeah.
Loved watching.
Do you think they're both going to finish with losing records this year?
Good question, young man.
Do you really think so?
No, I think Michigan pulls it out. I think Michigan comes around.
I agree.
But that may be 7-5.
Notre Dame goes
I think yes.
All right. Keon Latimer rotating back in. It's his turn at tailback, but Steffi's going to throw over the middle. Incomplete. Darius Hayward-Bay in traffic. Could not make the catch. You see the DBs?
He felt them coming.
Yeah.
You know?
He was trying to settle down in the zone, and the quarterback was leading him into
I like Steffi throwing the football. He's got
like
a
him
good
too.
arm. He had a bad decision. You know, miscommunication on his interception.
He still should have seen the extra defensive back. The receiver did not turn up the sideline like he anticipated.
It would be huge for the Terrapins if they can get something before halftime. Mountaineers get the ball to start the second half. Steffi fires low. Good job collecting it by Joey Janos. Flags down as the all-ACC tight end takes it to the Mountaineers 40. Now we'll check the marker.
They're calling. I don't know which way.
I think they're going to call illegal pick. It's what I think. From the outside in to free up number 80. I think you had an illegal pick coming here.
Larry Williams is a defensive back on the play, but it looked to me like he was trying to jam the receiver, and the receiver was just pushing back. It was one-on-one.
I would have called a pick. I don't know what they saw, but
it's a Big East crew.
Pass interference. Number 18 on the offense. The 15-yard penalty in the previous punt. Replay second down.
They called it on the receiver, Laquan Williams, the freshman converted safety.
Honestly, to me, it's not a pick. There's the pick. But he ran the defender.
But he's got his hands on him, Doug, and that's the problem. He's running the defender into the other guy. If he's trying to erase and get through without bodying with his hands, then it would not. It would have been a scrape, a nice scrape.
Scrape, rub, scrape. You know, offensive terms. Defensive term, it's a pick.
It was.
Yeah, it's a crushing penalty on Williams, and negates a 17-yard gain. Moves the ball all the way back to the 28-yard line and leaves him a minute 15. Second and 25.
Now West Virginia may be deciding to use those timeouts to try to get the ball back.
Steffi bolts straight up the middle. Driven down by Johnny Holmes, the safety. And now they'll have to spend another timeout. Nope, they'll wind the clock now. Clock is running, no timeout. They just had to set the ball. Now there's some confusion on the field.
I thought somebody called timeout.
Sure. Otherwise, why would the clock have stopped?
Maryland. Second timeout of the half.
All right, to get this sorted out, the Terrapins do take timeout. We'll come back. On 3rd and 15, Steffi steps up at a poor throw. He's trying to get it to Janos. Very low throw, and now with 52 seconds to go, the Terrapins will have to punt.
Well, it was 3rd and 15, Craig, and both you and I are looking at each other like, why would Maryland call timeout there?
I thought that West Virginia had used one of their 3 timeouts, and Maryland gave them an extra timeout in effect.
I don't like.
You don't like their chances of converting on 3rd and 15?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I just don't
like run out, make them use their timeouts there. I don't know why they did that.
I don't like the idea of White or Slayton getting their hands on the ball one more time for a couple of running plays.
Even running plays are dangerous when West Virginia's got the ball. Travis Baltz quickly gets it away. It's not a good kick off the side of his foot. Bounces out of bounds, and West Virginia will have very good field position and 46 seconds to work with.
And 3 timeouts. And you know, just the threat of having to go defend White and Slayton again.
They could have a 3-play, 20-second drive. Yeah, we saw their first drive was 2 plays, 25 yards, whatever it was.
Ray Lewis better have reminded his buddies going on the field right there to take it a play at a time, or they'll be in trouble here.
The freshman punter, just a 22-yarder. Mountaineers, will they try for more here? 60 yards away from the end zone. That's 30 away from field goal range. This is Slayton. Once again dropped for a loss. Rick Costa, Anthony Wiseman there on the stop. Let's spend a timeout.
One thing that's different from last year, Chris, you called this game. Chris Kosh, the defensive coordinator, this is his second season. And every year, a new guy, when a guy comes into a new system, it's a given. There's an adjustment. There's a time that has to come together. He was learning their skills, and so now this defense looks to be playing a lot better tonight. More downhill, don't they?
Well, less predictable. That was the problem last year. The Phrygian felt that this defense was too predictable.
Wherever you see greatness, there's much you don't see. The path that led to the goal, the support of others, and the careful way everything's choreographed to create an effortless end. Fueled by 150 years of teamwork between alumni, students, faculty, and staff, the University of Maryland is now a leading public research university. And together, there's so much more we can do. The University of Maryland. Fear the turtle.
2nd and 11. White will throw it. Fires high, incomplete. Rifled the ball along the sidelines. Jock Sanders, the true freshman, pretty well defended by J.J. Justice, and now it's 3rd and long.
You've spent your whole half, a whole summer getting ready for a football game. And the defense has shown up tonight. They showed up, right? You don't want to lose all of that in the last 30 seconds of a half. You got another snap to go.
The Mountaineers gained only 2:13 and a half. You thought you did a pretty good job. Look out. Slayton stutter steps into Maryland territory. Has a 1st down. Now stop it to move the change. 27 seconds in the half. A quick 12 yards.
I was pretty impressed Maryland defensively on 1st down when I was thinking maybe they're going to go prevent. Came with the blitz, shut the run down, got in the backfield. They got the penetration they needed. Now on 2nd and 3rd down, they went to the prevent, and Slayton busts the run.
It took Slayton 15 carries, but he gets over the 100-yard mark at 103 and a touchdown.
Another timeout to go. So West Virginia's in good shape right here. You know what? I mean, that extra timeout that they didn't have to spend, that Maryland used on their series, now really coming into play here.
We still need about 20 yards to get comfortable field goal range for McAfee. They're going to run it, and Slayton is going to be stopped for no gain. And the clock stopped again with 17 seconds left in the half.
Again, a 1st down blitz by the Maryland defense, blitzing right into the run, trying to shut down the running game.
Interesting 2-minute offense for West Virginia. I mean, how many teams out of 120, 118 are throwing the ball in this situation?
Well, you got one team that has Pat White and Steve Slayton. And you know what's really scary? If you analyze that last play and watched it, he gave it to Slayton. But, man, that defense caved in. If he'd have pulled that football, all of a sudden Pat White's running around the other side for 60 yards.
Even though it's a running play, there's a lot of different options of potential for either one of them to get in the open field. And that's what they're looking for. Spread that defense out, find a crease, one of them in the open field, they'll be in the end zone in a hurry.
Now, so much speed and so dangerous, this offense. Maryland just trying to hang on, get out of this thing with the last 20 seconds in the half, because this offense gets the ball back, West Virginia, to start the 2nd half. You don't want to fall any farther behind. It's been a pretty good start for Maryland, considering they had to dodge 2 turnovers, 2 big mistakes by Steffi.
But again, the Pat White issue, make Pat throw the football against you and beat you throwing the football.
Well, it looks like he's in position to throw the football.
There's Slayton. Slot.
In the slot. 5 receivers. White pressured. Steps up, hit, fumbles. The ball's loose. Maryland has it. One timeout to go. The Terrapins have the football with 13 seconds at the West Virginia 49.
Throw the ball down the field, and you got a chance now to get some points. But this is pressure. This is the defensive line coming after them. I mean, you got guys sitting that pin in the years back. Defense didn't take a play off.
It was only a 3-man rush, playing prevent, and they get pressure off the 3-man rush, knock the ball loose.
That's Rick Costa forcing the fumble. Mac Frost was there. And now we'll see what Steffi can do. They have the 1 timeout. Flips it to Lattimore, goes up, makes the play, and they'll have to spend the timeout right here. He loses a yard. Crowd didn't like the call.
The crowd doesn't realize really also that the power that's on that other side of the field and how well this has been played for a first half.
You like the call there?
You know what? If you get a play where he gets up the field to the 35, it might work. Now you take a Hail Mary shot into the... Is Doug still up here with us? Doug, Fridge needs you right now.
I don't know if Fridge, and judging by what he's saying to Stephanie, I don't know if he loved the decision.
He's saying, look, I got Doug Flutie up in the booth. You mind if I let him borrow your helmet here real quick?
I would put that thing up for Darius Hayward Bay and say, go get the football.
You got 5 seconds left.
Throw that sucker up in the air and let him go.
But you have a chance here if you could get 15, 20 yards in one play.
Yeah, but you can't do that in 4 seconds.
No, not now. Before that
play
little swing pass.
Yes, I agree. Throw something up a seam, a corner route, something. Even if it's a jump ball and it's intercepted, you're taking
yourself
shot
a chance.
3 plays.
And at the end of the day, you got the defense off the field.
You talked about Keller for Nebraska, John David Booty, and the top-ranked Trojans visiting Lincoln. It'll be not a blackout crowd, but a sea of red that USC will wade into in Lincoln. 8 o'clock, primetime Saturday night on ABC. Brent Musburger, Kirk Herbstreit. And it's the Salters.
The key to this play now is hanging on to the football as long as you. If they are throwing for the end zone here rather than a trick play.
Could be a hook and lateral.
Hang on to the ball as long as you can. Let your receivers get down there and then put it up.
You keep Lattimore in the backfield. Pressure on the edge. Steffi steps up.
6'8", tight end.
Now it's picked off in the end zone. He's looking for the tight end Hanos to get all the way down the field, but Eric Wicks, the safety, with the interception. 3 turnovers in the first half for Maryland, but nothing like the debacle that unfolded when these teams met a year ago in Morgantown. Mountaineers offense will be back on the field to start the second half. Friedgen with 3 turnovers. The early miscue in the very first play from scrimmage has to feel okay about this first half. Let's go to Aaron.
Well, Coach, with 5 seconds left, what did you want to see there out of your offense?
Well, what I was trying to do is throw the ball out to the back and have him block and try to get it in field goal range. Jordan threw it behind him. You got to get it out in front of him.
You said yesterday this is Jordan's first big game. How would you evaluate his first half?
Okay, you know, he can do some things better, but he's playing with composure, and I'm not disappointed with him.
All right, Coach, thanks.
So the 3 turnovers for the Terrapins. They hold West Virginia to 223 total offense. Now let's go to Reese, Mark, and Lou, the Pontiac Performance. White's got it, and he's got a crease. Pat White into the secondary, into the end zone.
It's exactly like last year's game. Mistakes by Maryland. West Virginia takes advantage of it, sticks it right in the end zone.
Lattimore's got it. Cuts it back. O-line touchdown Terrapins. They go back to Slayton. Has the sidelines and score. Well, in front of this big sellout crowd, a pumped-up Maryland team comes out, has a disastrous start, a fumbled snap on their first play from scrimmage, and 45 seconds into the game, guys, West Virginia has a 7-0 lead. Since then, it's been an even game. 3 turnovers for Maryland. One of them was a Hail Mary at the end of the half, a turnover, and a missed field goal for West Virginia.
Well, I think, Maryland probably went in the locker room and they're very happy with where they stand right now in this football game. They'd like to be winning, but I think it's a lot better than last year where they were blown out and they really changed their game plans. Now they got to settle into a little routine here for the second half.
Yeah, I think they have to just keep pressuring West Virginia, keep blitzing, committing people to the run, and force Pat White to beat you through the air.
They had the running game going in the early. Here's the Home Depot coaching adjustments.
Offensively, keep pounding the ball. Pound it away, make your big plays through play action. Defensively, penetrate, blitz, and get after them.
Conversely, West Virginia, I believe they need to stick with the option because it's challenging Maryland's defense to play every snap from sideline to sideline. They're spread out all over the place with Slayton's speed and White's speed. If Maryland's defense doesn't play every single snap, it'll be a disaster. Or a touchdown.
Ray Lewis still believes there.
Yeah.
Chris Roberts to kick off. The dangerous freshman Noel Devine, a super recruit. Speedster comes up to take it at the 10. Devine, being very close to running through that tackle and breaking it. Gets out across the 35. Moses Foku, the stop for Maryland. So the important thing for Maryland, get Rodriguez's offense off the field quickly. Aaron?
I had a chance to speak with head coach Rich Rodriguez coming out of the locker room. He said he felt like in the first half his offense gave up a few big plays. The reason why? Execution and some misreads. He stressed to his team, you got to keep the focus there because he himself realized that Maryland did go in feeling pretty good about themselves after the first half.
I felt good about the way they stopped White. He had that touchdown run of 22 yards. His next 7 carries, negative 15 yards combined. So they've stopped the quarterback runs. They feature Slayton there for a short game.
Speaking of feeling good, Aaron, I'd like to know on the sidelines kind of the attitude, the demeanor of Jordan Steffi, the quarterback in Maryland, how he feels his composure.
Get Aaron on that case. Steffi known to be a real emotional guy. Friedgen said before the game he didn't mind the look in his eye. Felt he's ready to make good decisions tonight. Had to shake off the early turnover. On 2nd and 7, White will pitch it out to Reyna to makes the catch and has a first down. A flag comes in. They cross into Maryland territory. Foku and Barnes combining on the tackle. They're signaling a hold against West Virginia. That's the preliminary indication. It'll wipe out the first down catch.
Holding, 83 on the offense. 10-yard penalty, replay second down.
They got Tito Gonzalez on the edge.
Gonzalez on the outside out there in open space. It's just really hard for a wide receiver to have to block. And, you know, you got those hands. Those guys are going to see you. They're holding out there.
Well, Reynald showed you what he can do in open space. He's as dangerous as Pat White and Steve Slayton. This guy with the football is like another running back, and we'll see Divine later. He's just as dangerous.
Reynald has a 41-inch vertical. They say he squats 695. You believe that?
I can't even picture these numbers these kids are doing.
I don't know. There's like E-stats. There's like fake lifting stats. 695 is a lot.
That's ridiculous.
They've got weapons spread out all over the field, and this is Divine, the freshman. A stiff arm, but he draws a crowd and gets hammered at the 45. Jeremy Navarre, the defensive end. Flying up was the linebacker Philistine.
Now you've got every coach has a little chart over there to look at the number of touches, who guys are who's gotten the ball, who hasn't received the ball. So he's going to continue to spread this thing out, but at the end of the day, they're going to have to get that ball back in White and Slayton's hands.
Well, Slayton got tired against Marshall. They want to get Divine more involved, the freshman number 7, earlier in the game. Good job of the Terps defense on that one. 3rd and 13. Slayton in the slot to the near side. White looks right for his roommate, but fires complete to Darrell Jalla. Darrell Jalla takes it for first down yardage before Justice stops him at the 45. 21-yard gain as they spread the ball around.
Now again, this is a slot. You got trips to the far side of the field to the left side. Watch the eyes of the quarterback. Knows exactly where he's going with the ball. The defense didn't lock up in the zone coming across.
Yeah, but that's what you have. You have to force Pat White to beat you through the air. You don't want him to beat you with his legs.
Nice accurate dart on 3rd down, and now White has got it. Doesn't make the pitch, and makes a nice little cut down near the 32 before Foku stops him. Quick 13 yards.
Now he's beating you with his legs, right? Now he's faking it, going the option. That's a given. It's a given that Pat White is going to get yards on the ground. Take that away and make him beat you the way he doesn't want to.
They took away the fullback. The big fullback, Owen Schmidt, went in there, and you had a convergence to the middle. You've got to be disciplined. You can't all jump on the dial back.
Commit more to the run. Commit more to the run.
Jalla to the bottom of the screen. It's Divine next to White. And the young guy's got it. Look at the speed. Noel Divine. He's the next great one.
Pick your poison, huh? Pick your poison. Unbelievable quickness. Coach, what are you doing on defense?
Well, again, it sets up with the fullback. There's a lot of focus on the inside here, and Divine with the eyeballs on his feet. I always say great runners, their feet know exactly where people are. I mean, that kind of move.
Just lateral. Put his foot in the ground, a complete lateral jump. Kind of a jump cut.
He fits right in here, doesn't he, with that speed? Close and goal. Schmidt in front of Slayton, and it's Slayton. Dives down, stopped short of the goal line.
Now wait a minute. If you're Maryland and you're sitting on the sidelines right now and you're Ralph Friedgen, you're sitting there thinking, or Chris Koch, defensive coordinator, holy mackerel, we stopped 10, now we got 7?
Exactly.
What's up?
10, 7, 5, 2, all of them.
Where'd that cat come from?
He came out of Florida, a very, very highly recruited guy of Fort Myers. Deion Sanders is Divine's guardian.
5'9", 170 pounds. You gotta love it.
He's out of the game now, and that's Schmidt. Malone setback, ran out in the slot behind White. Guess who's going to get the football here? Banging straight ahead and not scoring. Schmidt still fighting, but they blow him dead at the half-yard line. Philistine, the linebacker, filling with justice. That's stopping 250 pounds of strong guy there.
Or you knew who was going to get the ball, right? So you figure the Maryland defense knows who's going to get. They had a stop earlier.
Second quarter. Yep. They came in second quarter, had a little confidence down there. I don't know about you guys, but I like having number 10 in the field, on the field at all times in the red zone.
He's down in there now behind Schmidt on 3rd and goal. This is Slayton, untouched.
Great
Schmidt with the block.
Great job at the line of scrimmage by Pat White, counting the numbers on the defense and going to the weak spot. The overshifted defense took the ball left, and it was an easy cakewalk into the end zone. Great job getting into the right play.
So West Virginia does exactly the Terrapins faithful hoping they wouldn't do. They take the second half kickoff and march to the end zone to build a 14-point lead. His last game, Slayton against Maryland, the school that once withdrew a scholarship from him, and he's enjoying it so far. 107 yards, 2 touchdowns. West Virginia's touchdown set up by a 31-yard run from freshman Noel Devine. High school superstar, ran for 92 touchdowns, almost 6,900 yards. Real tough upbringing in Florida. Both of his parents contracting HIV, dying while he was just a youngster. Witnessed some tough things on the streets of Fort Myers. Deion Sanders took him under his wing, became his guardian, and he surprised a lot of folks as the kickoff goes out of bounds by choosing West Virginia. Devine, despite the hype of the reputation, though, when he met Rich Rodriguez, coach said he knew right away this guy was special. He said, I'm going to be the closer on this guy's recruiting visit. I'm going to drive him around personally in my own car, and the rest of the recruits can go around on the bus. And Noel said, no, coach, wait a minute. There's other guys here. I don't want special treatment. I'll just ride the bus around with them. And Rodriguez was impressed and very surprised.
Yeah. He said, at that moment, I knew I had the right guy. And Devine went and stayed and lived with Deion the summer before his senior year. And that's really good for Deion, you know, an influence, a mentor. Sure. He does that with a lot of kids.
It just shows he's got his head on straight. He understands what's important, the camaraderie with the teammates, not looking like he's something special and taking under the coach's wing and all that. It goes a long way as far as being a leader around your teammates. And I know they're all incoming freshmen or all just recruits at the time, but I'm sure he takes that same attitude into
very well liked despite all the hype, and a high school superstars on him was treated that way. They'll re-kick after the penalty with the ball going out of bounds. So it's just a low kick. This one headed for out of bounds again, and fielding it and falling down is Danny Akendo. He had room to run but slipped, and the penalty doesn't really hurt Maryland there, as hurt West Virginia, as Maryland will take over in the 27. These are Applebee's weekend menu.
All right. Got a little challenge coming up there at Boston College, traveling to Georgia Tech. John Tenuta, you think he'll have something for old Matt Ryan?
He'll be bringing it. Matt will be taking some licks, but he's a tough nut. He'll stand in there.
Important early game in the ACC. If BC can go 3-0 in the conference already.
They're off to a great start.
It's a Maryland team that was picked 5th in the Atlantic Division preseason. Friedgen not bothered by that. Very often in the ACC, teams come from nowhere and win it. The Hokies did so in their first year. Were not expected to do well. Wake Forest, of course, last year. And Maryland had a chance that they'd beaten Wake Forest in that game here to play Georgia Tech for a spot in the BCS game. As Lattimore Ball carrier is down. Lattimore, a good first half. He was the main offensive weapon for the Terrapins, and he'll limp off now as Ball comes in and they move away from that 2 series per guy rotation.
But really, there is no dominant team in the ACC. There's no outright favorite to win the conference.
Well, there's one quarterback that everybody talks about, Matt Ryan in Boston College. Everybody else is kind of in the same pile. They're all figuring out who they have, including here at Maryland. If Steffi comes along and makes some plays, all of a sudden Maryland's a contender.
Steffi now is a 2nd and 4. Jackson, the fullback in front of Ball. Hayward Bay in motion. This is Ball. Wasn't expecting to play this series. All of a sudden had to get his hat on and come into the game.
Staying with it. Staying with the game plan. Don't rush. Don't put pressure on Steffi. Don't let him make a mistake in his series out here now.
It's only a 14-point game. Exactly what you said. Stay with what's getting in the position to have a chance.
First of all, better make the first down here on 3rd and 1. That would be a good start.
That would be excellent.
Lattimore, you saw come back in the ball game. Lined up behind Jackson. 3rd and a long one. Lattimore makes a cut. Bounces up near the 45, has the first down.
But again, when we started this football game, it was the offensive line at Maryland that really kept the team in. After the turnover on that snap in the first series for Maryland, the O-line, they got it going.
They dominated the whole first half. They really did. They got down to the end of the half. You get into 2-minute situational football stuff, and they got away from running the ball. Now they've got plenty of time to put a nice long drive together.
You don't get many opportunities, though, to come back against the Mountaineers because they don't stop scoring usually once they get rolling. So crucial possession for Maryland. Little pump fake. They'll hand it off to Lattimore. Trying to get her on the corner. Just muscles to the 45. Antonio Lewis at a $185 came up to challenge him.
And again, you go back and you look at the start of this football game and you say it's 21-7 right now in the 3rd quarter. But you go back and you look at the first snap there. And this was disaster. I mean, a touchdown that the Mountaineers put in the end zone put a lot of pressure on the Maryland football team and their focus. It was like deja vu.
That was a big test for Maryland, though. They bounced back from it, moved the football. Again, right now, controlling the ball on the ground. So they're back into their game.
The tight end, Janos, set back off the line of scrimmage. Williams in motion as a blocker for Lattimore, who turns the corner and gets into West Virginia territory for a first down. Quentin Andrews, the safety converted into the bandit linebacker, made the stop.
Aaron, how's the mindset? What have you noticed down on the sidelines with Steffi?
Well, of course, remember his offensive lineman, Andrew Crummey, told us yesterday in the spring, hard time controlling his emotions, a little crazy there in the huddle. During West Virginia's scoring drive, I was watching him. He had his hands on his hips, just sat with his offensive lineman, very, very calm, and that's the way he's looked throughout these past couple of minutes, Craig.
He's looked poised in the pocket all day long. He looks very comfortable.
It's Lattimore again. Steffi's overcome a lot to get to this moment, the biggest start of his life. 2004, had an injury, a concussion on a Thursday night beatdown against Virginia Tech, then tore a meniscus. Then when he was recovering from that, very near the football complex, he was hit by a car. Came back from that after redshirting in 2005. Bicep surgery was another injury on his throwing arm. There's a knee there. And now earning the starting job with help from Josh Portis' suspension. But Fritz says if we lose another quarterback injury, we got a serious critical situation on this team. Lattimore has the corner. Crowd calling for the flag. They don't get it at the 41-yard line. It's a hold. It'll call it back. No flag on the tackle, but it's a hold.
But you're finding a weakness right now around the corner of this West Virginia defense. And that little zone read, the quarterback here pretty soon, Steffi's going to have to pull it because he's got an open backside.
But the thing that kills a running football team are penalties. A penalty like this puts you at a down and distance where 4 yards, 5 yards isn't going to get it done now. Now it's 2nd and 20, and you're in that situation where you need big chunks. They've been in great down and distance.
Number 8, Hayward Bay's got to show up. He'll be at the top of your screen on the right side. He's got to make a play. He's got great ability after the catch.
He's been quiet tonight, the main receiving weapon for the Terrapins. A corner blitz, they flip it out. Lattimore makes the catch and gets hammered. West Virginia brought pressure off the corner. They go right back to that part of the field. And a huge hit by Johnny Dingle, the senior from Miami.
They ran the little slip screen into the blitz, which is usually a great play. Pop.
Dingle, a guy from the mean streets of Miami, is just now fulfilling his potential. He's been in the doghouse at times in his career, but now in his senior year, he's showing that next level potential. And there's scouts from 18 NFL teams watching here tonight. It'd be a good night to put on a show if you're a senior.
18 of them, huh?
18.
Yeah.
And Ray Lewis enjoyed that hit.
The wrong team, though. But he appreciated it as a defensive.
He appreciates it no matter what.
3rd and 22. Steffi, plenty of protection, fires short. It's caught, but nowhere near a first down as Okendo at the 50-yard line.
Not bad. Take that all day. You know, get to midfield, punt the football, put the pressure on your defense to go out and make a stop.
Don't force it down the field and turn the ball over. He took a peek up the field. It wasn't there. He took a completion, positive yards.
But again, the holding penalty kills this drive, and now Maryland's got to go back on defense after the punt from Travis Baltz. It's Vaughn Rivers deep. Rivers fields it at the 14. Clocked by Henderson on special teams. The superstar linebacker down there covering punts and doing what he usually does as a backer.
Like that. Ray gets to thoroughly enjoy that one because it was the right team.
That's his 7th tackle of the night.
ESPN's College Football Primetime. Brought to you by Chrysler. The way our vehicles come together is what sets us apart. Chrysler, engineered beautifully. And Gillette Fusion Power Phantom. For the best shave ever in manual and battery power. Visit GilletteFusion.com for details.
There's old EJ, Butkus and Big Narek Award winner. No doubt looking in tonight with Aaron Henderson's little brother on the field. Maryland usually wears red tonight in the all black. On special occasions they bring it out. Slayton cannot get away from Henderson, who's all over the field tonight. Looking very much like the preseason All-American.
He's going after him. He's showing us something. You know what? Henderson is a guy that came to play football today. You see how fast he went to get the runner?
Well, Adrian Moten was unblocked in the hole, and Slayton just left him standing still. But it was the pursuit, the second guy that got him.
2nd and 7. This is Slayton in a crease, spun around, stopped for a short gain. Talked about the history of Maryland football. A towering figure in that history is Darrell Hill, the first African-American athlete in the ACC. He was a veteran on the team that featured a young Ralph Friedgen. Aaron Andrews will visit with Darrell Hill. Still very much a role model on this campus for the current Maryland players. Director of Corporate Relations and Major Gifts on the fundraising trail.
Come after them. You got to come. That's what they've been successful with. You got to come.
They're showing blitz on the edge. Schmidt plows ahead, does not get the first down. 250 pounds, and he's stopped. Chase Bullock, the Mike Backer, was there.
Commit to the run. Bring them like Craig said. You have everything covered. Force West Virginia to beat you throwing the football.
Easier said than done for a team that runs it better than anybody.
You know, it's amazing. They've got unblocked people.
Doug.
It sounds simple. Maryland has unblocked people coming in the hole, and they fan.
He just said it. Do you see what Rich said? He goes, you got to pull that football. Because they pinched hard on him, and he just told him, Pat, you got to pull the football. Get it around the corner. Read it.
Different protection look for West Virginia as McAfee is back to punt. Rolls to his right and boots it off the side of his foot. It's Okendo, unable to get away from traffic stop at the 35. So Maryland's defense gets a stop as we go to Aaron.
Well, Chris, you mentioned Ralph Friedgen bringing along his former teammate Darrell Hill to the staff in 2003. What is the message you try to get across to the student athletes that you work with?
Well, I try to tell the kids that there's life after football and to prepare themselves for a career, because most of them are not going to go to the NFL. So I want them to concentrate on their schoolwork and then their career development afterwards.
Darrell, Ralph shared with us yesterday that he finds it absolutely amazing that athletes these days have no idea what you had to endure in the early 60s. What surprises you when you talk to them about your situation?
They're incredulous. I don't think they really understand what it was like in the early days. They are disbelieving, and they just don't understand that it really happened. But it's important, especially for the African-American athletes, that they understand that history so that they can know where we've come from and where we need to go. So I try to help them, and they're very curious and want to know, but they can't relate to it.
Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
Chris?
Aaron Friedgen was telling us yesterday that he saw firsthand what Darrell went through in those early years when they would go on the road and play in a less enlightened era. Our friend Lee Corso involved in recruiting. Darrell was a receiver, assistant here at Maryland.
I think he raised like $25 million here, and he's really strong. Great booster.
Well, you saw them take a downfield shot on the previous play. A good job by Larry Williams to break it up. Now they go back to Lattimore, and it'll send up a 3rd and long. See Ray Lewis a hug for Darrell.
Yeah, but you know what? He also does that mentoring program and trying to get kids beyond. They really do a great job here. Kevin Glover, former player, he's here on the program, and they help these kids transition to the real world.
Life skills. Teach simple things like starting a bank account, how to take out a mortgage. Simple things that you need to know to move on in life.
And to move on in this drive, Maryland needs to gain at least 7 yards on this play. Play clock inside 7 seconds now. Steffi looks right, has time, fires incomplete. Looking for a flag there was Okendo. He was pretty well covered by Ryan Mundy. There is no flag, and they'll have to punt.
I thought Steffi showed good patience, moved in the pocket nicely. It was just excellent coverage in the West Virginia secondary.
How about the defense, West Virginia? You know, they're stepping up, playing pretty good. We came into this game wanting to really analyze and see what West Virginia had on defense because they haven't shown us a whole lot.
Right. Now, this is by far their biggest test. I don't know if this will answer the question if they have a championship defense. They'll face a lot better offenses than Maryland. Louisville comes to mind. Ball's a high kick. Rivers trying to sidestep away. Can't get away. Stopped at the 23. But one more time, Maryland's defense has to go back on the field in the final minutes of this 3rd quarter and get the offense the ball back.
Sunday night from historic Fenway Park, the Red Sox and Yankees meet for the final time in the regular season with both teams in the middle of the playoff hunt. While Boston tries to close out the American League East, New York is in a fight to the finish for a place in October.
A big series that begins Friday night. Pettit on Suzuka. Mr. Flutie hardly an uninterested party in that one. Big Red Sox guy with a walk-off home run last night.
Big Poppy, 2 home runs, including the walk-off.
Slayton has a crease. It's Devine, check it, and Noel Devine down the sidelines. Headed for the pylon, marked out at the 1.
It all starts up front. There's a lot of speed in the backfield, obviously, at West Virginia, but you've got to be in a lane assignment. We see a big gape here. Look at this. Look at the blocking on the outside. Clearly an excellent job. West Virginia up front, and then Devines. You know, I told you guys, I was wanting to know whether or not he had breakaway speed. Slayton would have scored there, but this isn't bad.
If you look back at the entire offensive line is running laterally. 68. Dent turns on his man on the nose and creates the cut. The north and south seam for Devine.
He's got 107 yards on 2 running plays. And now to the young guy, gets him down close. Steve Slayton busts in for his 3rd touchdown of the night, 46th of his career.
You see the big man, the fullback, Schmidt, around the corner, leading the way. This West Virginia football team, Chris, you asked, we were going to break a while ago about the defense of West Virginia. Yep. Maybe not being able to handle Louisville. Could be a shootout. West Virginia and Louisville could be a shootout.
I would expect so, yeah. It was last year, just decided by mistakes. In that case, Slayton fumbles with an injured wrist that turned that game in Louisville's favor. McAfee on for the conversion. And West Virginia continues the pattern. They're so tough as the game wears on and the defense gets a step slower. They strike quickly. 27-second scoring drive, and they're now up by 21.
Nice hairdo. That is a football player.
I'll tell you, I like the fact that you make the kid earn his stripes. Divine busts the long run. You bring Slayton back in to score the touchdown.
And that's going to be a big difference in this race in the Big East this year. Now that they've got Divine, another guy. Can you imagine keeping Slayton healthy and fresh?
He's scary, this guy. I mean, Divine is doing what people expected him to do really out of high school. The surprise was that he just came to a place where he's not the featured back right away. He made the decision to kind of come and share the spotlight.
Slayton's gone, though.
Next year?
Next year, Slayton's out of here.
Okay, that's not a scoop. That's just your presumption.
Okay. You know, if he's asking anybody with realistic knowledge of the number of carries he's going to have in his life, they'll tell him to go on. He's ready to play in the next level.
He also realizes in this offense, he's going to be able to get the ball in space and be successful. You know, he's a little guy. He's not going to be an eye back slamming it up in there. He's working in space with a guy like Pat White and another mobile quarterback.
It suits him well, yeah.
And the offense suits him.
McAfee boots it low. Taken by Carroll on the ground. And he turns the corner to the 39. Well, one of the issues in college football this week, LSU's impressive win at home against Virginia Tech, and you can see that USC, well, this total over here of 40 first-place votes is down 20 from last week. LSU is getting closer.
Pretty close right there, isn't it? Huh?
Very close, 12 points.
And there are a lot of people,
All-State standings.
There are a lot of people, Chris, asking voters, why isn't LSU number one?
LSU
from USC
is going to get better and better, and you're right. USC hasn't done anything yet.
Well, they get a chance on Saturday night. I'm looking forward to seeing the Trojans in their first test. ABC primetime against the Cornhuskers. It's Lance Ball in as a blocker in the blitz, and Steffi wants to throw on first down, dumps it off to Janos, the tight end, for a short gain. Antonio Lewis on the stop.
Hey, all right, USC, LSU. You're an AP voter. I mean, you still got USC number one?
No, I was voting number one. This week I switched to LSU. Nothing against what USC did in their off week. Right. I'm sure they practiced well. But LSU answered some questions for me. I was wondering how many options they would have on offense, and they showed a little more diversity with LaFell, with Holiday. Against Virginia Tech, that was a very impressive performance on offense and defense. We knew what they had. We saw them a couple weeks ago.
You got LSU or USC, Doug?
I think it's going to wind up being LSU.
Well, I'm not sure what it's going to be at the end of the season. Right now, I got the Tigers ahead of the Trojans as Steffi keeps it. Plows ahead to the 45. It'll set up a third and short.
And again, nobody cares where they are really right now, except at the end of the year we want to be 1 and 2. And at this point, you know, there's a lot of belief LSU, USC will be 1 and 2.
But what I see in LSU is a complete defense and an offense that week by week is going to get better and better and better as Matt Flynn gets more and more experience. Now USC's already there, and they probably have the best linebacker.
We think they're there, Doug. See, that's the problem.
Exactly.
We don't know yet. We're going to find out at Nebraska this weekend if that team is really as good as we think they are.
Trojans have a lot of road tests this year. Most of them in the Pac-10, but it starts in Lincoln on Saturday night. Crucial play for Maryland to have any chance of hanging in this game. They must convert this third down, so they'll take a timeout and talk about it with 22 seconds left in the quarter. What about West Virginia versus teams like Oklahoma and Florida? Other teams up in the top 5, Texas. Have the Mountaineers shown you enough in the early going so far to justify the number 4 ranking?
On offense, they have. And I think their defense has played better tonight than I was expecting them to, because this is not a bad team. This is an ambush game here. You've had a Maryland football team that was embarrassed last year, prepared all summer for this game. And, you know, West Virginia's defense done a pretty good job.
Well, the next test for the Mountaineers, they do have East Carolina at home. And remember how well the Pirates of Skip Holtz played in emotional afternoon in Blacksburg. Then they go back on the road in their conference opener at USF in Tampa on a Friday evening on ESPN. So you'll be able to see them Friday night in USF right now. If you look at the teams in the state of Florida, 8 of them in Division 1A, maybe just behind the Gators.
That's a pretty cool standing, though, graphic, isn't it? When you look at the Florida schools.
When you say South Florida, maybe the second best team in the state of Florida.
Now, Hurricanes fans are saying, wait a minute now, we lost at Oklahoma. Let's not write us up yet. 3rd down. Hayward Bay in motion. Steffi is sacked. Coming right up in his face was Morty Ivy on the blitz. Former high school quarterback.
Was Steffi stuffed there, Chris?
Steffi was stuffed.
Okay.
That's sweet, Lucas. All right, Lewis.
That's enjoys a linebacker coming on the blitz.
No matter what team he's rooting for, he just loves seeing people get hit.
And West Virginia, very impressive 3rd quarter. That's been their pattern. Good on defense, explosive on offense, and they take a 21-point lead of the final 15 minutes. Folks made the drive, only a couple hundred miles separating these two campuses in this border feud that lasts until 2010. And the first play of the 4th quarter appears to be a punt from Travis Baltz, and they will not fake it. He gets it away. Rivers comes up. It's a short kick, takes it on the move at the 27 and is hammered at the 35.
Well, you wonder who West Virginia will trot out there this time. Will it be Devine or Slayton?
Doesn't matter.
It will be divine intervention, whoever's in the backfield. But when you talk about these two guys and the way they do, you go back and look at this football game here. I think the country's figuring out there's a young guy named Noel Devine, and he can play the game. A couple of carries. What'd you say, Chris? 100-plus yards, and then here's the president, Slayton.
Do you think Devine busting a long run motivates Slayton to show, wait a minute now, I'm the boss?
I don't think
he's pretty secure right there.
Yeah, I don't think he's worried.
Wait a minute, kid. Take a back seat.
A couple of young guys, the freshman receivers, Brandon Hogan and Will Johnson, check into the game. And this is Slayton on the pitch. Henderson went there to meet him one more time. Aaron Henderson, once again, piling up the tackles. His 10th on the night. He's a guy that had 114 as a sophomore.
You know, if you're a Maryland observer, you got to get better in the punting game. Their punt has not been good today. You want to become a complete football team, not just the quarterback.
Yeah, he's a true freshman.
Yeah.
Today's Under Armour advantage, highlighting Henderson, who's just a junior. It's Slayton around the corner, lassoed, but gets up near the 1st down at the 45. Philistine.
Little cowboy in there, lasso.
You got to go back to the ranch with this guy, don't you?
That was for you.
Where are the Wranglers? Where's the belt? Where's the boots?
I'm going to get you guys a nice set of boots before the year's over. Get you a good belt. You get your little belt going there.
Is that a cowboy belt you wear?
I don't know.
That's a fake outfit. That's not the real deal.
That ain't no fake. That's a real. That's a real one.
No. Greg actually does roping, right? You do.
Yeah, I do.
Like cow cutting or whatever you call it.
Team roping.
He's got his boots on with his suit.
I know, but he's not just like a rhinestone cowboy.
He's
this
for
guy
real.
actually does ranching out there. Look out! Devine is back in the game here on 1st down. White pulls it and is smacked. Navarre, they're getting it down now. They're down by 21, but that Maryland defense is starting to.
They've played well all night. I mean, West Virginia's going to make their plays, and they bust. But when they bust loose, it's a 70-yard run. It's a 50-yard run. It's the negative plays. You got to make some negative plays in the backfield to stop drives.
And Maryland's offense in the 1st quarter, 115 yards. Since then, less than 70.
Yeah, they're not getting that much help from the O, but it's tough when you say they play well, and it does seem like that. But West Virginia has almost 300 yards rushing.
That shows you how explosive they are, and they've got 4 different guys that can get it done.
Schmidt to the left. It's Devine. Schmidt blocks for him. The young guy sidesteps into the secondary, still going. A flag is down. They got his face mask on the tackle, and Devine refuses to be tackled. They'll tack on yardage to the 1st down run. Moses Foku got the mask. Devine is special.
You know, he really is. You know, there are a lot of guys who get the publicity coming into college football, and they don't live up to the expectations. Here's a young man, because he has his head on his shoulders right. He's very humble, a hard worker. You know, they may have to come up with a new rule. If you could just get anything on Devine.
That's a major face mask. It spun him around, and he just kept running. He did a 360.
Face mask. The defense. The 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run. First hit.
Something I noticed from last week. He's 170 pounds, and he keeps driving his legs and falls forward. The kid keeps going forward, and he did a jump stop there, cut to his right.
The best east-west sideway runner I've ever seen in football is Barry Sanders.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now watch this. You tell me this isn't quickness. Going left to right. Look at that. Is that unbelievable?
That was, and I hate to say it because Sanders is the best college player I've ever seen in my lifetime, but that was almost Sanders-like.
Scary. I'd buy stock in West Virginia's future.
He's only averaging 42 yards a carry tonight, Devine, by the way.
Sit him down.
He's out of the game, and now it's merely Slayton and Schmidt in the game. White still got it. Nowhere to run. Philistine, the middle backer, was waiting for him. White knocks the helmet off one of the defenders. Short game.
Not a bad average. You know, you're on national television. Yeah. You know, a lot of guys are just happy to have a 5.0, right? And you know, he's working on the 5.0.0.
You know, it's like Dickerson going out of the game and James comes in, right?
Oh, there you go.
Second and 8, and Slayton kind of picking his way on the right side. It's about 3.
To get a chance, you watch this offensive line of West Virginia. They move east and west from sideline to sideline in unison. And then Slayton just slides along and waits for that vertical cut to show. And somebody finally seals the defender off, and boom, north and south they go.
But the thing that impresses me about Slayton, a lot of dancers.
Henderson off on the sidelines now. He's been the best defensive player from Maryland, and they're giving some attention to that right arm.
Hey, you know what? Back in Doug Flutie's time at Boston College, he used to love to play against West Virginia.
Oh,
the Mountaineers, no.
I knew it was coming.
How about this? A big game, your senior year, y'all are 4th in the country. That was the future Mrs. Rodriguez. There's Rich Rodriguez out there. There's Doug Flutie. And so today we're having lunch and you know, kind of let Doug know that this was coming. And he goes, oh, Rich was on that team?
Well, his wife got more airtime than he did.
I told Rich, too, in the pregame on the field, I said, hey, Rich, Doug didn't even know that you were on that team over there. And he goes, not surprised. You know, I wasn't getting him too many times.
He was a DB. you didn't search him out. You certainly could not stay away from Rodriguez.
Yeah, it was the #1 key of the game. Oh, we just couldn't beat them. That was
White fires into traffic. Slayton did not bring it down inbounds. Caught it, but couldn't get the feet down. Close to a 4th touchdown. Isaiah Gardner and Rick Costa, the linebacker, in coverage.
But you know what? This is what the country and defensive coordinators are going to watch. Out of the backfield this time, you're going to see Slayton just up the field.
On the wheel route.
You know, if you're a linebacker, you better have safety help over the top. And never, as a defensive coordinator, allow a linebacker to be responsible for Slayton.
Pat McAfee missed the chip shot earlier this evening. This is 32 yards.
32.
Sneaks that through as the West Virginia lead grows to 24.
I was 27 years old, and I was between the pipes trying to make that big save.
The shot, save, scoring!
I think the 99 final influenced a lot of passions, and a lot of those passions are actually on this team right now. We actually asked the question to a lot of the younger players what made them think that they could be on this team, and a lot of them said, you know, the World Cup in '99, and they really decided that moment that they wanted to go for it.
That was in the Rose Bowl this year, the Women's World Cups in China.
Yeah, that '99 World Cup team, they brought women's soccer to a level of popularity that my daughter...
They did?
They did?
Yeah.
Really? No, my daughter's
No, I know they did. How do you know that?
A television commercial with Michael Jordan and Mia Hamm, and he says, Dad, who's that guy with Mia Hamm?
No, come on. Tyrell Skinner brought down in the USA and Sweden tomorrow morning, 4:55 Eastern time. That's when our wake-up call is for the flights tomorrow morning. Sweden and the U.S. and kind of in the group still. Had a tie against Korea the other day.
Yeah, those about 3 times a week we get up with that 4:45 wake-up call, and the days that you have a chance to sleep in, I can't sleep in.
Maybe if you go to the bar at the airport, they'll have the Women's World Cup on for you. You can watch it as you wait for your flight.
Get a little action. Yep.
We do those flights before everything opened to the airport. The newspapers haven't gotten there yet.
I'm telling you.
Starbucks is closed.
You know, a bonus for us would be we could really get a paper route. I thought about it the other day. I'm leaving the house at 4:20. It's just dark. Cows are bellowing in the pasture. What I'm doing out there?
We're not whining about our jobs.
No, it hurts to wake up early for me. I'm sorry. It hurts.
You're not going to be watching the game tomorrow?
And you thought you wanted to go down there and play.
I'll watch it. Okay, fine. We're all watching. You getting up with me and watching it?
Did you hear what Bobby Bowden said? Because there's Florida State plays at Colorado on Saturday, and it's a noon kick out there. But 10 a.m. Mountain Time, noon for the East Coast. He said, "Wait a second, I'm going to have to wake up. Somebody have to wake me up to get me to the game." As the Noles take on the Buffalo.
Yeah, I think Florida State's been asleep for about 2 years, home team. And I like Colorado's chances of winning that football game. Okay. Well, the ACC is 9-7 in out-of-conference games. We saw Florida State struggle a little bit last week with UAB, didn't we?
Yeah, they did for 3.5 quarters. Yeah. What does it have to do with their chances of winning in Boulder, the ACC's non-conference?
Altitude. Cody Hawkins, I like him at quarterback. It's a game going west. You just told me about that. Bobby Bowden can't even get up in the morning now.
Altitude is no joke.
That's a real deal. Remember us when we played New England? We never could beat the Broncos. We'd go out there and train for a month and couldn't.
That's your upset special for this week, though. Colorado over the Seminoles.
Mark that down.
And you don't like it because you're like,
no, I just have my doubts about your pick. Steffi steps up. Now he flips it short to Lattimore, catches it in traffic and gets a first down.
That's the second or third time I've seen opportunities for him to go up the field with the ball, and he just doesn't pull the trigger, winds up dumping it off.
You know what Ralph Friesen said in our meetings was that many times Steffi will see it, and when he looks on at the receiver wide going deep, at that moment he's maybe a yard on the defensive back. He's wanting him to go and let it go. He's open.
Yeah, it's a methodical offense. They can't really afford to be down 24 points here. It's the first time they've passed for a first down since that 75-yard touchdown drive back in the first quarter. That's Joey Hanos with the catch. I correct myself. That's a night game. So Bobby was saying he'd have to stay up late to play in that game because it's going to be so late on the East Coast.
Just have him have a
body
little
clock stuff.
Extra chocolate cake delivered to his room, you know.
All right.
That's what the cup of coffee's all about.
Hey, I'll give you one. Think about Ohio State and Washington.
Yeah.
Washington's a good football team, but Todd Hickman and the Buckeyes don't show up.
Washington, terrific job on defense against Boise State. I still need to see a little bit more to believe that they can take down Ohio State.
Jake Locker's the real deal.
Nice. Terrific. He's going to face a better defense than he's faced in his college career. Again, the short flip to Lattimore has room and blockers. He gets into West Virginia territory. Back to Reese for a 30-30 update.
All right, Chris, punishment handed down to the New England Patriots for the whole spyware scenario. Caught the Jets trying to spy and videotape their signals. Belichick fined $500,000, team fined $250,000, and they have to forfeit a first-round pick if they make the playoffs. Second and third-round pick if somehow they don't make the playoffs. Greg Oden. Portland's probably not going to the playoffs. He's going to miss the entire season after having microfracture surgery on his right knee. SportsCenter after the game. You can always stay current with ESPN News.
Reese, thanks. Doug, you play for the Patriots. Belichick, $500,000 fine. Ouch.
That's steep. You know, is that taking into consideration what a specific guy is making when you set fines, or are you setting the fine for the violation?
No, Roger Goodell, the new commissioner, has done one thing, and he's been consistent with it. If you mess around, Goodell's going to get you. And I think it's great for the National Football League. At a time where there's so many questions about the integrity of pro sports, Goodell has a firm hand on that league.
I agree.
He's chosen to draw the line there. I mean, that still seems a pretty stiff fine. It's kind of like the Casablanca scene when shocked that gambling is going on. I mean, are you shocked?
Everyone has stood up top with binoculars and tried to steal signs and looking across, and you set your backup quarterbacks and your kickers and punters to eye signals and try to come up with stuff.
The videotape's a little bit different.
That's a different level.
I think this. The first-round draft pick, if they make the playoffs, the money's one deal. You know, Belichick makes a lot of money. The Patriots have a lot of money. But when you start losing first-round draft choices, that gets at you. Because you got to, in the NFL, you got to have draft picks to win.
That sets a pretty strong statement that you don't want to do that.
What happened to the days of $10,000 fines? I mean, this is
back in my time.
This is $500,000. This is $500,000 now.
Hello, darling. That's like to go home and your wife say, honey, you got docked $500,000 today?
I was a little late for work.
You idiot.
3rd and 5. Steffi looking right all the way, and it's complete to Okendo. Okendo into the secondary, shoved out near the 20. So an important 3rd and 5 conversion for Maryland to have any chance of closing this gap in the final 7 minutes. Steffi 5 of 5 on this drive.
You know, they've got an opportunity here to start throwing the football because it's running late. You're down. He's getting into a rhythm. He's throwing the ball 5 of his last 5, moving the ball, taking a read, starting to get comfortable. When you run, throw on 3rd down or play action every now and then, there's no rhythm for a quarterback. This is giving him an opportunity to get in some kind of rhythm.
Lattimore cuts it back. Cannot get away. Slavonic on the stop. Backup defensive tackle from Pittsburgh.
Tennessee, Florida this weekend be a pretty good matchup. You know, we start talking about the top teams in the country. I really believe Florida's defense will come together. I mean, and it's in the swamp, so they're going to have support there. I don't think Tim Tebow will have a bad game. I think this is a show them game, show the country game.
Tennessee says they want to see what Tebow can show them. They don't really find themselves impressed with the competition for Tebow in his first year as a starter yet.
We saw him as a runner last year. We're starting to see him as a passer. Now he's going against a legitimate defense, and we'll see what happens. On the flip side of that, Eric Ainge is very impressive in the passing game.
Passing for the end zone, looking for Janos, incomplete, double coverage.
But the thing about Florida at that swamp, been there many times, it's just really an advantage. Tebow's not intimidated. He's been there. He's been in the big games before. Worked on his throwing mechanics. You know, says he's throwing the ball. His shoulder's not bothering him. Arm's not bothering him. I think the offense is fine. It's going to be that young defense of Florida that's going to have to show up. I'm looking for 2 things this weekend. Florida's defense, see how good they are, and I want to see USC show up in Lincoln.
They'll show up.
I'm talking about
off the plane.
They'll be there.
They'll be there. Yeah.
They'll make their presence felt. I promise you, Fred. 3rd and long for Steffi. Fires for the end zone touchdown. Danny Okendo. That was a nice throw.
Very nice job. He had a receiver going down the middle of the field, one up the left sideline, put his eyes out to the left to freeze the safety right down the middle of the field. Beautiful throw.
22 yards.
But you know what? It's that foot fire at the line of scrimmage. You get a lot of focus on Hayward Bay, all on the right side, opens up the left side of the field. Nobody in the middle to help out.
Obi Egekezi knocks it through. So Steffi, an impressive drive, 6 for 7, 84 yards. The problem is it comes after the Mountaineers had a comfortable lead. Still up by 17, 5:50 to play.
ESPN's College Football Primetime is presented by Applebee's Neighborhood Grill and Bar, eating good in the neighborhood, and in part by BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
There you go, Craig. Now, these are Maryland crab cakes, okay? It's all jumbo lump, no filler, all right?
You know what
Not
no filler
Texas
means? You know what
barbecue.
no filler means, though, right?
My parents grew up in Baltimore. Steamed crabs with Old Bay seasoning and jumbo lump crab cakes.
What's the filler? When you have a crab
breaded,
cake,
all that breaded stuff.
Ready?
Yeah. Yeah, which,
That's not
good. No. The crab meat, see, the deal is the crab meat costs a whole lot of money. So in order to get a lot of filling, you got to put some filler in there. And once you do that, you can still almost get the same amount of money for a 10-ouncer
That's what the restaurants will do. And that's what you'll get all around the country. But in Maryland, you get Maryland crab cakes.
But they have fillers here, too.
I'm sure there's some.
We found them last night. I'll take 2.
What an education. We'll be back. Happy Mountaineer faithful. It's an onside kick. Maryland men had a hand on it, and now we're scrum at midfield. Terrapins football.
How many chances did they have?
Boy, there was that shades of Oklahoma, Oregon last year. The guy comes out of the pile with the ball.
Moses Foku, the man who recovered it. Maryland needs to get the ball back quickly, obviously, and here's the first chance to get it. Boom.
Special teams, the golden rule, go get the ball if you're on the hands team. Don't wait on it to come to you. But, hey, if you get the ball, you make sure everybody in the stadium knows that you recovered the ball.
That was Chris Roberts, the kicker, who had a first chance to grab it. He didn't really wrap it up, but he got popped, and Foku, the linebacker, had to come in there and grab a hold of it. So now, Steffi and the offense at midfield, down by 17. Pressure's off the edge, and they've got him. Magro on the blitz, got him.
Yeah, West Virginia said enough of this sitting back and playing zone coverages and letting this kid complete balls. We're coming after him.
He can't lip read, by the way. Rodriguez's reaction.
He just said, my nose is tickling me, and I'm going to rub it.
That was after the onside kick.
But see, that's
obviously.
a football coach, though. You know, every phase of the game, it's an opportunity in a live situation to work your hands team. Execute the play because you're going to have to do it in a meaningful way one day.
But a meaningful play in the sack pushes him back to the 41, 2nd and 20. They rush 3, drop 8, and once again trouble. This time it's the shotgun snap. Dropped by Steffi. The Terrapins are going backwards.
Yowzers. And if you're Ralph Friedgen, you're sitting there saying, come on, fellas. We got to finish strong. We got to build for the season. Let's do this thing and execute the game like it's supposed to.
Think about a momentum killer in the last 2 plays.
The blitz on first down is what started it with the negative play, and now it's 3rd and a mile and a half. And I'll tell you what, you make the call, kid. I'm not calling the play for you.
Lattimore's in the backfield, 3rd and 24. Drop 8 in coverage, and he sneaks it into Hayward Bay, who doesn't have first down yardage. He's back at the 46. Ryan Mundy on the stop, but still a nice throw over the middle to set up a makeable 4th down play.
He turned that ball loose. He just reared back and stuck it in there. Nice gain on the play. Get yourself a manageable down and distance.
A lot of white jerseys dropped, as you said, Chris. 8 go into coverage. And to be able to see the play and hit the receiver, building block.
Like I said, he's gaining a rhythm to his passing game here by allowing him in the last 2 drives to start throwing the football.
He got 18, needs 6 more on 4th down. It's the West Virginia fans who almost outnumber the Maryland folks, making a lot of noise here. Steffi, sack, Magro got him again. What a series from Mark Magro, the senior linebacker from right there in Morgantown. 2 sacks of Steffi, and the Mountaineers take over.
Went to sleep up front. They came with a little blitz there. Receiver's not working to get open for him, and he can't see downfield. Steffi just didn't see the game.
I think the ball's got to go there. He had enough time. I thought they had a hat on a hat for a while. You knew the blitz was coming. Pressure was going to get to you.
The receivers were doing nothing.
It's 4th down. The ball's got to go. So just give him a chance.
It did go.
Yeah, go down
over to West Virginia.
Slayton and Schmidt back in the game, but now Jarrett Brown, the backup quarterback, in for the Mountaineers. Sophomore out of West Palm Beach. It's Slayton. Wow. Had a burst. Gained almost 10. We talked all evening about the intimidating, frightening aspect of speed in the backfield. West Virginia unleashed the weapons that the country knows about. Slayton and White, Raynaud, but then here comes Noel Devine, the true freshman, joining the crew here. And what a night he's had to build on a big touchdown run that he had against Marshall last week. He only averages 16.3 per carry this season on 15 carries.
Darius Raynaud, we haven't really heard a lot from tonight. He's another explosive player. Now you put Divine on the other side. You've got all kinds of really powerful, explosive players.
I want to see the wishbone. I want to see the true wishbone, though.
Rich said, you know, Chris, I don't know much about that wishbone, though. I don't know we're going to do that.
He says he can't coach. He doesn't need to coach it with these guys. I want to see Divine, Slayton, and Schmidt, and Whiten. I want to see all four of those guys in the wishbone.
That goes against, he wants to spread people out and create space.
They'll get space when they break a tackle. They work for Oklahoma.
All right, speaking of space, how about Aaron? What do you got for us?
All right, well, I've got a, little story about the Heisman. Of course, Steve Slayton, Pat White, potential, well, they are Heisman candidates. And Rich Rodriguez told his marketing department as well as his SID, do not campaign for these guys to win the Heisman. He said, we're on TV enough. There are enough articles written about them. Team success builds individual success. And he said, quite frankly, we don't need to single them out. And I know, Craig, you like that method there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm old school. Doug and I both are, really, when you look at it. But when you look at the Big East, Brian Brown down there throwing for a lot of yards. Google it over and you go to Ray Rice. We saw him last Friday night. Ray Rice is a great football player. With Mike Till throwing the ball so well, Rice is going to have huge numbers. We've seen tonight, White and Slayton.
We do the same thing everyone else is doing. You clump them together. Well, when it comes time to vote, half the people that want to vote for one of them are going to vote for either White or Slayton. They're going to split the vote and not have any chance.
Here we go. Let's go. 3 of us here, voters in the Heisman. Doug, you won the Heisman.
No.
No. But tonight, and let me ask my question, Hoss. Let me ask you my question.
Hoss, everybody's Hoss in Texas.
Tonight, in this game, in this football game here tonight, Slayton or White, after watching tonight on national TV, who would get your vote? Slayton or White?
For the Heisman?
No, tonight. Play the game. Out of this game tonight. Just this one right here.
Slayton.
The game. Me too.
Tonight, Slayton.
So we didn't split the vote there, did we?
The overall success of this offense is determined on the decision-making of Pat White.
No, Divine, it's a productive play, but he's ruining his average, which is 16.
I wouldn't touch the ball. When you have a 50-yard average, I wouldn't touch the ball again. Coach, I'm all right. I'm good. No, thank you.
He only got 6 in that carry, but despite Divine's bust out, the guy who really broke the game open, Steve Slayton, 3 more touchdowns here. That's Wrangler, 5-star player of the game. Again, we talked about the importance of Maryland games. Look at him boosting up the other guy. Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Camaraderie.
I think that makes him feel good. Yeah. That's pretty cool right there.
The importance of playing against Maryland. This is his last career game. They don't play next year. The school that offered him took it away, and Ralph Friedgen is tired of hearing the story.
He'd make a heck of a defensive back, though.
Yeah. He's just an athlete. He'd play wherever he wants to. It's Jock Sanders in the ball game. He's a freshman out of St. Petersburg, another young, fast guy. Coming up on SportsCenter, Matt Weiner, Neil Everett, get you caught up on all the day's news, including specifics on that massive fine against Belichick and the Patriots for spying on the Jets. Just a very tough news for Portland. Greg Oden, #1 pick, out for the season. And, of course, a lot more in the playoff chase. It's a deflating loss, but #1 pick, right? This season.
That's a blow. You can get the money back, but you'll be several years missing that #1 pick.
I'm talking about Greg Oden.
Greg Oden. Oh, yeah, being gone for the year. That's terrible.
There's a force one there. He was going to come in and make an impact right away.
3rd and short. It's Brown. Once again, turning and accelerating for the first down. They're just showcasing all these guys, these young guys.
They down the helmet inside the 1.
And Jock Sanders lost that. Fellow freshman Hogan collects it, and that'll be the final play. SportsCenter is coming up next as West Virginia passes a road test, rushes for 352 yards, and wins at 31-14.
Very impressive. Offense did their job. Defense did better than I think we thought they would.
They stood up. They bent for a while, but they stood up to the task.
Slayton, 3 touchdowns, and West Virginia rolls on. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Craig and Doug and Aaron, I'm Chris Fowler. So long. ESPN News will have our post-game extra. SportsCenter coming at you right now.